なんだなんだ最高の時代だな。
And welcome to the Nerdington Post. I'm Walter.
I'm 2Meg today.
Yeah, and boy, what a weekend. We're coming off of E3 2021.
Yes.
But let's tell you about our first sponsor, Magic Spoon, baby. Magic Spoon. It's a healthy alternative to the breakfast cereals we grew up with, you know, those sugary treats, but this has 0 sugar, 3 grams of net carbs, and 11 grams of protein, baby.
Frosted Flakes, man.
Let me tell you, all those podcasts you listen to where Magic Spoon is a sponsor, they're fucking lying. Because Magic Spoon is trash. Now I gotta thank 2Meg for buying a box here that he's gifting to me because it's so awful. And I thought, man, Magic Spoon can't be that bad.
I told you.
But it really is. And that's the frosted.
Yes.
And I'm gonna try cinnamon now.
Yeah, try cinnamon. Let's see what cinnamon's about.
But yeah, it tastes like eating frosted. Tastes like eating styrofoam and like you said, orange peels.
Orange peels. Yeah, dude. Let's see what cinnamon's tasting like to you.
Styrofoam and a little bit of cinnamon. So this is better. This is better
Okay,
than
now
frosted.
try fruity. And let me see.
I feel like fruity's gonna be the worst.
You're probably right, because that's the one that turned me off for real. Let's see.
Yeah, that one's not bad. This is not flavorful.
Yeah. I'm like, that tastes like that Christmas ornament. Woo! Yeah, I told you fruity would get you, boy.
This tastes like Pez.
Oh, no, that's not what your
It tastes-
cereal should taste like.
It tastes like it has the same
Can you
fruity
imagine that
flavoring as
with milk?
Pez. You know what? It might be better than milk.
It's not. It's actually worse.
I'm excited to try this out.
Oh, bro.
But,
It's yours.
yeah, this post
all
E3
yours.
podcast is
Yes.
brought to you by Magic Spoon.
Yes. Thanks, Jim Cornette. You tricked me. I thought I could believe you. You're a carny. You said it. Your wrestling origins from the circus.
From the circus days. Well, you know, back there was honesty back in the day.
You know who wouldn't trick me? The Young Bucks.
No.
You
they
know
wouldn't.
who wouldn't trick me? Kenny Omega.
And they're heels now, baby.
Yeah.
But
Well, to be fair.
sticking with the wrestling news, hats off to Leo Rush
Yes.
and ACH, formerly known as Jordan Miles. Both guys are retiring within a week from each other. Leo Rush, you know, he was having a big resurgence, like working the indie scenes after getting fired from WWE.
I think he'll be back, though.
He had a contract with New Japan. He was going to sign like a thing with AEW, but then he got injured at the Battle Royale.
That sucked, yeah.
And you know what? Being healthy in his family is more important to him? Screw you. No. I mean, it's great that he knows where his priorities are, and, you know, he's retiring because he doesn't want to, you know...
He'll be back.
You see old guys like Dynamite Kid, and it's just so sad.
Or Lex Luger.
Yeah. I haven't seen him. Is he rough looking? But yeah,
He's bad.
Leo Rush.
No offense, Lex.
I like his, you know, he was working a rivalry against Alpha and Tazno in New Japan. It was great.
Yeah, that was a good
I'll
one.
miss that guy.
Yes.
He's a likable personality.
Yes. And I like how he stood up for himself
Yeah.
in the WWE. Because I don't like that frat boy logic either. Like, oh, well, you're the young one, so do this because that's what we've been doing. Why?
Yeah.
Well, that's because. Why?
And another thing,
Well,
like ACH, Jordan Miles, another guy who stood up for himself in
Yeah.
WWE. I also liked seeing him in Ring of Honor, New Japan, and he gave no reason why he's retiring, but
I don't think he'll be back.
He might be back.
I'm not sure. I think the reason I say the thing for Leo Rush is because, one, he's extremely good at it. Not saying ACH isn't, but Leo Rush has so much potential, and he's already been on like that big stage of WWE that I feel like he'll be bitten by the bug again. That's like, okay, well, I can't just sit at home all day. Or when he raps, he's like, well, even though I'm a decent rapper, I'm so much better as a wrestler.
Well, he will kind of be back because after he's healed, he's gonna finish his obligations to New Japan.
Yeah, okay.
But maybe he gets hooked on it again.
He's gonna get because this is not the first time he said that he's gonna retire.
Same with ACH.
That too.
No.
That too.
I believe ACH coming back more.
Why?
Than, I don't know, just because with Leo Rush we specifically know it's an injury.
Okay, I got
Whereas
you.
ACH, he gave no reason other than like, hey, I'm retiring.
Right.
I'm not going to use a bunch of words. I'm just going to have a completely black picture on Instagram, which that could be anything.
That could, yeah. Well, see, that's why I think it's flipped, because since it's like no reason behind that he's just like, screw this, wrestling's done. I just want it to be away. While with the injury, it's going to be like a what if. What if I can do this? What if I can become the junior heavyweight champion, or at least contend for it, or be best of the super? Like Leo Rush being best of the Super Juniors just sounds right to me.
Yeah,
like I could see him easily like being that once all of this is over, like by 2023 he's gonna have one if he stays in it. I think so. But time will tell, like everything else. So.
Nobody. It's like how many times has Jay-Z retired? Like 3.
Exactly.
Yeah, he
And everybody knows in wrestling, retiring is as good as...
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, Sting got in the ring at, 61? But yeah, that's...
Right. Hey. They said he wasn't coming back.
Nerddom is more than video games.
Yes, that is true.
It's wrestling.
I don't care what Jim Cornette says.
But, our bread and butter is video games, so let's get to it.
Let's get back. And it's E3, the end of E3 week.
Yeah.
Maybe the worst E3 of all time.
Yeah, it was definitely cut to my little meme that I made about it.
Okay.
You got the dud!
Hey! He looks just like you, Poindexter!
How come Lisa doesn't have to play? Why does she get to hang out with her friends?
You got friends, you got the dud right here. Stand up for yourself, Poindexter.
There we go. Yeah, that's my thought on E3 2021. It was a dud.
Yeah.
It's not that, with 2021, we expected there not to be a lot of bangers.
Right.
Because of COVID, every publisher, developer has been out there saying, hey, 2021, this is where you're going to see the real delays in development.
That is true.
Yeah, so 2021 is not going to be too exciting. And even with that lowered expectation, it's still under-delivered.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, that is still hurt. After all of these companies warned us, we just weren't prepared.
Yeah, it was... There were, a couple standout announcements, but a lot of it was just, not to knock on indie games, because they're an important part of the industry.
I love indie games.
Yeah, he's the indie king, baby. But the major publishers had little to show.
Yeah.
And
I mean, speaking of it biting the industry in the butt, of course it's gonna hit those indie guys twice as hard.
Yeah.
They don't have any backup plans. So it's hey, 2022 is gonna come back strong, but man, Nintendo.
It wasn't exciting. There were some announcements, but on the whole, it wasn't exciting.
Yeah.
And also...
that hurts.
Last year's non-E3 was better.
Yes.
Because everything... well, it was a little too spaced out.
Yeah.
But this one, it was easier if, something interested you, you had enough time ahead to be okay, I'm going to watch this press conference... Mm-hmm. And I have enough time to digest it, and also
that helped a lot.
With the publishers doing their own thing, they could pace it better. Here's this announcement, and then we could go into this deep dive, and then afterwards you have a couple days to decompress and digest all that information before the next one hits. But this one is just here's a bunch of announcements all at once, and then maybe we'll do a stream later, today, which is it's been 4 days since Xbox's stream of their E3 showcase, and today they did an Xbox extended showcase where they went into the gameplay deep dives. Where why wait 4 days? Do what Nintendo does. Have your press conference.
Have it concise.
Yeah, and then do the treehouse afterwards.
Yeah.
Where it's not like, oh wait, I have to check Twitter to remember that this is when you're going to do the deep dives for your games. Like, it was just spaced out weird. The pacing was weird, and also the ESA, which is the video game lobby in North America, the one who holds E3.
Yeah. Also in charge of the ESRB.
Yeah, they did not set expectations right at all. Like, here's our schedule. Here's the big things where you know they're going to have announcements. But hey, we got a special presentation from Take-Two Interactive. Hey, you like Rockstar and 2K games? Yeah, Take-Two's having a special thing.
Oh, GTA 6?
Yeah, Warner Brothers? You like all those Shadow of Mordor? You like those DC games?
Marvel games?
We're going to have a special Warner Brothers stream. Hey, Bandai Namco, Tales of Arise, that weeb shit, Elden Ring. We're going to have a special presentation.
Right.
And guess what? They did not deliver because all they said was, hey, these big guys are going to have a presentation.
Right.
Didn't say what's going to be in there. And then they disappointed.
Yeah.
But the only one who set expectations correctly was Capcom. They said, these are the 4 things...
I was still angry.
They said, these are the 4 things we're going to talk about, and they talked about those 4 things. I mean, and you know what? My expectations were met.
Oh,
and
man.
I was fine with that. The way they announced, what we all wanted to see was the Resident Evil Village DLC. And all they had was a single slide in Excel that said, due to popular demand, Resident Evil Village DLC is in development. Like,
wow, like we didn't know.
That is a non-announcement. You might as well have waited until you had actual something to show. Yeah. But the other disappointments of...
Just pull out, man.
Yeah. Or just,
Just pull out. Like, I don't think it was worth it at all for what Capcom did.
Yeah. No, well...
Even with the lowered expectation, even though they told us, I was still upset. Because it's like... Why even waste the time of everybody? Why did you do this?
Well,
what's the point?
That's a problem with your expectations.
Yeah, I know that's on me.
That's on you. They said exactly what they were going to talk about.
What's the point of doing that?
So you could get a better impression of Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Okay.
Great Ace Attorney collection.
Which we knew about that.
The Monster Hunter Rise DLC.
Knew about that.
And Capcom Cup. Or Capcom Pro Tour.
And that's not... We knew about that.
They hit all their notes they said they were going to... They hit all the notes they said they were going to hit.
Yes.
And if you thought they were going to do more, that's on you.
I did not think they were going to do more. That's the thing. Because if somebody tells you they're going to do something, listen to what they say. Yeah. But the thing I'm disappointed in is, like, if it's going to be not that much effort, just skip the year.
No,
that's the thing. Skip the year until you have something. It's okay to skip a year. Yeah, that's what people do at E3 now.
Those games are... see, those games are coming out soon, so it makes sense to build up hype for it.
Most of them DLC.
But with Capcom specifically, if they had their own Capcom specific thing, like, next month, I think it could have been better, because if you do it at E3, people have higher expectations for it.
And that's what the industry made E3 into. This also juggernaut hype machine.
And also, the hype for those games gets lost surrounded by all the other announcements from E3.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. But that's Capcom specifically.
Yeah.
Bandai Namco, after at the Keighley's, they showed the Elden Ring gameplay trailer, and then Bandai Namco has a presentation in a couple days.
Right.
They set the expectation.
Too high!
They set the expectation like, oh, Bandai Namco's having a thing. We're going to see Tales of Arise. We're going to see Elden Ring because they just debuted the gameplay trailer. So this presentation, they're going to blow it out, baby.
Right.
All they showed... Before the main presentation, they showed gameplay from Scarlet Nexus, which is coming out in a couple months, which is their Weeby action RPG.
For
which,
Xbox only, correct?
no, it's all systems.
All systems?
They just have the
Why
marketing deal with
Oh,
Xbox.
okay. I'm like, why
So
does
it's
it feel
being
like
shown
it's
as-
Xbox exclusive?
Yeah, because
Okay, that makes
they have
sense.
that marketing deal.
Okay.
But then all they showed was House of Ash, which is their horror game made by the guys who made Until Dawn.
Oh, okay. Until Dawn. Okay.
That's all they showed. They just showed 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay of Until Dawn.
What are they doing?
Where it's like, you have Elden Ring debut a couple days ago, and then the ESA is just like E3's like, stay tuned. Bandai Namco is gonna have
More.
a presentation,
Something
and then
even bigger.
they don't show the game everyone's hyped about.
Right.
They show the game that everybody knows how it's gonna play like, because we had Man of Medan, we had
Right.
the other one, so it's the ESA did not set expectations right. If they said, "Hey, we're going to talk about this game at our presentation, get a deep dive,"
Right.
you're not disappointing everyone. Everyone's coming into there knowing
Having
what
the
they're gonna get.
right ballpark
Yes.
expectation.
You have to set expectations properly,
Yes.
because not everyone is a grown-ass adult like me who knows to manage expectations.
Exactly, yeah.
Or maybe I'm just cynical and dead inside, which I could be.
That could be it, too.
I'll be honest, I'm a little dead inside. I
Well,
gotta stop leaning away from the mic.
But to be fair, though, I'm usually on that plane you're on, where it's like, okay, I'll set this expectation correctly, because these are still people, these are still businesses. They're not always going to come out with a miracle. But the Capcom thing just really frustrated, because it's like, dude, 4 things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
E3, and I didn't feel like that
they
for
said it,
anyone
man.
else.
They said it.
I think maybe that's the thing that bothered me. Like, you said that, and you actually went through with that, and you thought that was a good idea.
No,
I think that's the last part was, you thought that was a good idea. Why?
Yeah.
Just leave. Join somebody else.
Nah, man.
Like you
It's
said,
not
postpone it.
Yeah, like have your own independent thing and build up hype.
You guys are big enough to do that,
rather
too.
than get drowned out by the rest of the E3
Exactly.
stuff.
You don't need like a Devolver Digital type situation.
Where you need that extra attention.
Right. You don't need that. You're a top tier AAA company in the gaming industry. Use your power wisely. Wait a little bit, and then you won't be on this E3 hype train. 2 weeks down the line, it's like, oh, okay, well, they told us the 4. Well,
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
But to the most disappointing presentation,
Hit me with it.
Take-Two Interactive, where
they set race relations back 200 years.
Look, here's the thing about it. So it's Take-Two Interactive. They did no gameplay, no games at all. They just had multiple department heads and employees at Take-Two Interactive from different studios and whatnot talking about diversity in the workplace and in the gaming sphere. Which is... it's a good idea on paper.
Okay.
Where it's admirable that they're using
Yeah.
this... Like, E3 is the largest platform in the year for video games.
Correct.
And it's admirable that they're using this platform
That's true.
to promote diversity.
Yes. But
So
know your audience.
On paper, it's good.
Yes, in a vacuum, in theory, all of those, great points for that.
But like Mike said, know your audience. Know the event. It's E3. You're
Right.
Take-Two Interactive. People have been waiting for a new BioShock game. Like Grand Theft Auto 6 news.
Right, it's been 8 years
Yeah.
since that game came out.
Like
They're shutting down the servers for the 360 and PS3 version in December or November.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, because that's published by Take-Two. Like any of the 2K games. Like
Right. The new NFL 2K, the arcade version.
It's people expect games
Anything.
at E3, and all this did, like, it's admirable that they use their platform for this.
Yes.
But all it did was make people upset because they were expecting games, they didn't.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys watched the whole thing and watched chat, but it was hella racist. It was
Are you
so
shocked?
fucking racist.
Are you shocked?
Nerddom is great. It's a wide group of interests, wide group of people.
Right.
But it's
Look
also
at us.
it's still people.
Yeah.
It's still hella racist.
Yes.
Like even international racism was in that chat, man.
Oh, God.
I saw a dude with a Korean name, like Korean symbols in his name in chat, and then it was just watermelon emojis, man. because it's chat.
Oh my God.
Like, they know how to get around the filters.
Exactly.
And it was even more racist than if they were just saying, shut up, hard R.
Right, exactly.
It was just like, it was...
Because it takes creativity
Yeah.
to find ways through that
Yeah.
filter. So you gotta know super racist terms, you gotta know
Like,
certain codes, certain dog whistles.
some jokes and stuff.
Right,
just
certain
like,
stuff. But you couldn't tell
Yeah.
me who George Washington Carver is.
Yeah, like, if I want to talk shit about, like, white people, I'm gonna use Ofe. No one's used Ofe in 100 years, man.
I don't even know what that
Who
is.
doesn't know Ofe?
I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
They haven't used Ofe since the Harlem Renaissance. And the reason I know that term is from my Harlem Renaissance literature class. But yeah, it's a great word because no one uses it anymore. So
Ofe.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I like that.
I don't know the origin of it, but it refers to white people.
I'm gonna just call you a hunky.
Yeah.
Just like George
Yeah.
Jefferson called you.
So if you want to be racist in chat, which it super was, you have to be that deep into racism to know
Yeah.
the stuff that's gonna get around the filters.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty bad.
yeah.
Yeah, but like
It's again, on paper it's good, but
know your audience.
know your audience.
What do you think would
know
have
the
happened?
events. Yeah.
Like you see every time you even mention a woman in your games
Yeah.
that half of your audience is gonna try to burn down wherever they're at.
Yeah, like just having a female protagonist, people are like, there's a good, like, that loud minority who's just gonna light up the chat.
Exactly. It's like, dude, don't even put anybody through that. Like,
Yeah.
that's just not so. And then me personally, I'm not sure what your thoughts are on it, but just saying it in a chat, that doesn't really do it. Speak with actions. Donate. Sell stuff. And this is take two.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, Take Two, you gotta admit, they have. This is mildly racist,
okay.
but they have the largest black audience.
Because
for
of
publishers.
basketball!
Yes.
It's-
And Grand Theft
Grand
Auto.
Auto!
is
Come
huge.
on! That's not
Yeah.
fair!
So, like, it makes sense for them to do it as, like, and I'm glad that they did it.
Yeah.
But
you want to do something,
pick the
hire
right time.
somebody.
Pick the right time and place, which they talked about, like hiring. Because diversity is the engine that drives creativity, and I'm stealing that from 30 Rock.
I'm like, it's true though.
But it's true because
It's
you
true,
have
'cause you
different
get
ideas,
yeah.
different perspectives, and then you I don't know, you get delicious fusion restaurants and shit. man.
Exactly. You get
the melting
different
pot that is
vibes.
America.
Yeah, it's just like, man.
But
that makes me think though, like the situation with Warner Brothers with them beating up the bisexual DC character.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have any LGBT like people
you just
working
have,
there.
You just have one person in PR be like, guys, this might be a problem.
Right. So that's what made me think for this situation for 2K. Like, you don't have any people of color in that position to be like, you guys want to do this right now?
Yeah. So, unless they're all optimists, which they could have been.
Then, okay.
I mean,
hey, I'm about to speak really real right now.
because the kind of person who's, like, willing to do this has to be a super optimist. Or either have their head in the echo chamber so deep where, like, they don't think this is gonna backfire.
But you gotta have some type of, I'm still black, I'm still Asian, I know how people think. Like, don't tell me
we're gonna get lit up.
Yeah, like,
because that's
if you were in that situation, if you were
I
their
would've
PR
been
guy,
guys, this is.
Because that's the first thing I would think, like, you guys want to do this right now. If anything, announce GTA 6 and then be like,
immediately I was like,
oh
boy.
No.
I grew up in the white suburbs that are predominantly Republican, but, like, moderate.
Yeah.
Like, they're socially left-leaning, but, like, they're voting Republican.
Yeah.
So, like in 2016, I knew, like, oh, Trump's winning.
Right.
And also with this, as soon as it got announced, it's like, oh boy,
no.
there's gonna be a lot of angry white people.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's what I'm like. If they even had a
Not
person...
just white people, a lot of angry non-black people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, even though they talked about, like, other races, you know, this is America. Last year was a year.
Yes. Understatement.
And, you know,
Understatement, but yes.
Black Americans are the lightning rod for this situation.
Yeah.
But, oh, man.
Which is crazy, because this year is the situation for Asian people.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking both ways. I'm like, talking about blacks and Asians. That's probably, like, just a lightning rod for it. But you brought the Korean guy.
Yeah, the Korean
like,
guy.
I'm not going to talk about my people.
Well.
Blackie! But like the PR thing, that's what made me think like
there's
dude,
no one who's like, guys, come on, man.
Like that's what makes me think like it's not a black guy or a person of color on that at all. And I don't want to be too bogus, but also live the minority life. And what I mean by that is you weren't whitewashed. You actually like lived with other minorities. You know how it is.
And also, like, here's the thing with a lot of the gaming outlets I follow are left-leaning, virtue signally, which is kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I'm like, I don't like that either.
Like, I'm on your side, but like I'm not gonna give you a pat on the back.
Yeah, I
hate that you're, and it seems like you're reaching for a pat on the back. Like, I don't like that.
Right.
Like, even those left outlets, they weren't talking about that. Like, who did you do? If 2K did, or if Take-Two did this for the kudos, like, you didn't get it. Yeah. All they talked about was how disappointing E3 was on a whole.
Exactly.
But yeah,
that's like
we have a lot to talk about with race in this. So tune in, subscribe to this channel, because we're gonna have a jocular, spectacular podcast, full-blown race talk.
Yes.
In my show notes so far, I have it titled as the best damn race podcast, period. But yeah, we're gonna...
I was thinking earlier, we can name it just White Guilt Show.
But yeah, we got this race podcast in the pipeline.
Yes.
We got a whole bunch of tokens. We got the Asian token, Black token. We're gonna get Senpai on it, the Latino token.
Right.
But yeah, subscribe to the GameSent USX channel, and so you'll get that content.
Right, and just from this alone, you already know we're not gonna just wag our finger.
No, we're gonna make jokes. We're gonna have fun. Like,
right. You already know. Like, come on.
We're gonna call each other slurs. I'm all about. Hey, hashtag take back slant. We need a cool thing to call each other, man. A slant is a cool word. Just phonetically, it's like slant.
We were talking about...
I like it. Hashtag take back slant.
We were talking about the Japanese slur earlier, and how it's so messed up that World War II made it a slur.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's just shorthand for that person's Japanese.
Yeah.
But then we can't, because some white people put some stank on it.
And drew them funny in comic books and made them
white
awful.
People put stank on it 60 years ago. We can't say Jap.
Yeah, I'm like, that was such a good...
man.
Because I always think about that. I'm like, oh, I want to call them the Japs.
Yeah.
But then I'm like,
no,
don't do that, because that's a slur.
Like, hey, I want to go to the Jap market, which is, in the burbs.
Right.
But Suwa, it's like, I love that supermarket.
That may be like...
It's just, that's shorthand.
Out of all of the slurs, that may be the friendliest. I would never just call somebody that, because it's still a slur.
Exactly.
And people, even though I don't
cancel them for using it, because we're using it in context of talking about how it's weird.
Exactly. And also, people, I'm saying this, I know that a group of people don't want it used. I'm not going to use it anyway. And also, so don't do it.
Chinaman is weird.
Yeah.
I think there's so many stand-up bits about it, but like, you got the place they're from and then add man next to it, and it's, I don't know.
Blackie's another one.
Blackie.
Yeah, Blackie's another slur that's like, but it's a slur technically.
There's a charm to it.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing. But I swear, if a dude with like a southern accent called me a Blackie, I would be offended.
Yeah.
But like, if we were just talking like, "Oh, you Blackie," I would just die laughing.
Because there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And then like the tone.
Context is key.
Context is key.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. We'll get into it with the Race podcast.
Yes.
Subscribe to Game Center USX so you don't miss out.
That's here
on the Jocular Spectacular
Do
podcast
it!
we have on Race. But hey, before there are positives. There are positives to this E3.
Yes.
But before we get into that, you ever worry about, because I'm in my 30s now, and I worry about my hair thinning.
Oh god.
And I notice how it's not as thick as it used to be 10 years ago.
I'm already in that struggle. I'm in the struggle already.
It's rough, man.
I hate it.
I have to become a hat guy now.
Yeah, I'm totally a hat guy now.
But if this next sponsor could really help you out.
Keeps.
If you listen to Will's take on E3, that'll help you keep your hair, gentlemen, and keep the ladies interested you. So just listen to Will, and you'll have your hair back.
Sorry for I don't know what's wrong with my camera. So since I will not be at recording the Nerdington post this week, I'm just going to give some deep dives into E3. So before Walter and Mike start talking Guilty Gear, overall, I think E3 was not good. It's great to see all the publishers and everyone come back together, but at the same time, it's like, I think we are to the point where we can just have everyone do their own thing and it not really matter. Also, cheers. But yeah, just some quick takeaways. Ubisoft was meh. I'm excited for the Mario Rabbids sequel. The first one was great, so play it on Switch if you can. That looked great. Obviously, no Splinter Cell news, no Beyond Good and Evil 2 news. Just updates on games that some people may care about, some people don't. Excuse me. Riders Republic looks like a Ubisoft community game, so good for them. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. And then Capcom and Take-Two, I think, were the worst shows. Maybe even Bandai Namco, because I think they showed one thing. But Capcom, the only thing that got me excited was obviously RE Village DLC. Other than that, I checked out because nothing was getting announced. And then Take-Two, I think what they're trying to do is great. Obviously, equality in the workplace, equality in the gaming community. I think that's great. I'm all for it. But I feel like that's something that maybe that goes on behind the scenes at your company, or if you're trying to make it like a industry-wide thing, that's something that goes beyond the scenes, behind the scenes, or maybe have a showcase and then go into that. I mean, obviously, you just did that right away, and only that because your Take-Two, people are going to want to see something about GTA 6 or whatever. So you knew people were going to watch, so I get it. I'm all for it, but at the same time, I just think there's a better time and place to talk about equality in the workplace and in the community and in the industry. And have a panel discussion with every company that's in that industry. But hey, you guys, and don't get me wrong, there are some assholes in that chat when that was going on. Like, Jesus Christ, grow up, people. Equality in the community industry of gaming is a huge deal, and I think it's a very important topic. But don't be an asshole just because it's not what you want to see. I'm probably contradicting myself. I don't care. It's great for the industry. Maybe not for E3. What else I got? Oh, and of course, Nintendo did Nintendo things. They split the room by making some people happy and some people not so happy. We got Metroid, I think it was Dread. That looks pretty cool. I might check that out because it looks like a really fun game. And obviously they said they're working on Metroid Prime 4, which they've said since 2017, so take that with a grain of salt, whatever that means. You got one of the worst announcements in the Zelda 35th anniversary where you get a little pocket thing to play like the first 3 titles. Come on, Nintendo, do better. I mean, last year for Mario, you get like 4 3D remakes games, and for Zelda, nothing. You get Skyward Sword HD, which I'm excited to play for the first time. It's the only Zelda game I've never played. But I don't know. I mean, people are going to buy that little thing and scalp it, so good for you, Nintendo. You know you're going to make sales, but fuck you. And then Breath of the Wild 2 looked amazing. I'm super excited about that. Some of the early concepts that you see is like you're going to have 2 dimensions of being like, obviously like a Skyloft and then Hyrule itself. That looks awesome. And I'm excited to see more. They said a 2022 release date the release window. So maybe they'll do what they did when the first Switch came out. Zelda will launch with the Switch Pro, with the original Switch. So maybe Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever it's going to be called, because they said they're not releasing the name, so they don't give away hints. So Breath of the Wild 2 alongside a Switch Pro 2022. Those cards are definitely on the table. So overall, I give Nintendo a B-, because there was some cool stuff, but I just think with Zelda's anniversary, you guys are dropping the ball hard. And then finally, Microsoft. Microsoft, I think, came out immediately with Starfield. Obviously, it's a year and a half away, so we're not going to see gameplay probably till, I think it's like the Game Awards or whatever happens in December. I think that's when they revealed the Series X. I think it's the Game Awards, but maybe we'll see like our first gameplay trailer there. Maybe we'll see something at Gamescom. But I think starting their show off with Starfield, with the release date, and showing that, hey, this Bethesda acquisition was serious, it's going to be Xbox exclusive. That's a great move for them. Then it kind of fell flat. You saw some games you really didn't care about. Honestly, Stalker 2 looks amazing. I'm really excited for that. And then Forza Horizon 5 is going to release, I think they said summer or fall. Like I said, I just took barely notes because I've been working all week. That looks really good. I may have to try Forza Horizon finally. I like Forza Motorsport. 7 was great. It looked great, but I may have to finally try a Horizon game. Flight Simulator comes out next month, which I'm excited to try that because I do like simulator games. And it looks amazing, obviously. And I just think the whole argument that people like to say, oh, Xbox doesn't have games. Clearly they have games, and they have, I think, over 15 or 20 titles coming to Game Pass day and date this year, whether it's a third-party or a first-party timed exclusive. So it's pretty exciting if you're a Xbox fan. I mean, honestly, we didn't see Perfect Dark, Avowed, Fable. So, again, Walter has mentioned it before. We're probably going to see, like, 2022 first looks and then 2023 release dates, which is fine because as of right now, Xbox is stacking their lineup. You got Halo this fall, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Horizon 5. What was the other one? Shit. I don't remember the other one. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work and do this as him. And then for 2022, you have Starfield is going to be their big holiday release. Probably a Halo expansion because the new Halo is like a 10-year game. And then the new Arcane Studio IP is Xbox exclusive next summer. So I think Xbox is finally on the right track. But again, show us some gameplay. That's all I want. But yeah, and then I think we're probably going to get a PlayStation event in the next couple months. So the future of gaming overall is bright. 2021 will probably be an okay year. I think 2022 is when obviously everything gets back to normal. Wow, I just blanked. Once everything kind of gets settled, I think 2022 is going to be a huge year for gaming because you're going to have Starfield, probably God of War Ragnarok. If it doesn't release in 2021, Horizon Forbidden West, which looks amazing, and then Breath of the Wild 2. So, already 2022, the slate looks amazing for gaming. So, those are my initial reactions for E3. I don't know if Walter's going to just post this video either in the podcast channel or just release it by itself. But yeah, those are my initial reactions. Hope everyone enjoyed E3. Obviously, thanks for supporting us in the past 9 months or 10 months. however long we've been doing this. And if you like our content, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. We are the Nerdington Post, and thank you.
And thank you, Will.
Oh, it's stuck in my mouth.
Thanks to Will's words, we're going to get our hair back. It's going to be thicker than ever. And we're going to get our D's wet more than ever. Because women, hair matters to them. And they're liars if they say otherwise.
They're still jerks.
Yeah. And Will's words, much better sponsor than Magic Spoon.
Yes.
Magic Spoon lies to you. And Will, he spoke the truth.
Yes, at least that stuff has made my hair grow.
Yeah.
At least I can believe them. Now these jerks.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's enough of them.
Back to the positive,
Yes.
Our positives, our favorite things from E3 2021, which, you know, there weren't many compared to the previous years. But let's start with their indies, because indie games, you know, they don't get all the respect and love and attention as the big AAA guys.
Nice to see it.
But they're just as great. You get just as solid an experience.
Yes, I agree.
And there's just so many. There's so many games out there, indie games, that appeal to all the different tastes.
Yes.
First one I want to talk about is Death's Door, which this was announced previously, but they showed more gameplay of it at the Devolver Digital press conference, and it seems like up my alley.
Yeah.
It's got that fast-paced action. It has a Zelda-like perspective, but it's focusing more on combat than puzzle solving. No, just I don't know, not in Zelda 1.
Oh.
But just in general, I don't know. Yeah.
Dark Souls. That's all I remember.
It's not as Dark Souls-y, but you have a hook shot, you have dashing. It looks like Bastion's combat a little bit, which Bastion I love the combat of. But yeah, the top-down action looks fast-paced. I'm into it. You're watching gameplay footage. The thing that sold me, though, because there are a lot of action games like this in the indie space. Mm-hmm. When in the trailer I saw, oh, he's a little bird guy. The main character you play is a little crow. He's a crow dude. And he's an agent of death, and he's trying to...
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, but he's he's a cute, friendly bird guy. Birds, I love birds. Owls are one of my favorite animals. Well, they shit everywhere. On the drive here,
owls are cool though.
I saw a bird live shit on a car. Which
here?
Nah, when I was coming down.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks great. The action, I'm sold. I'm an action head.
Yeah.
In terms of the indie space, if it's just I think Limbo has ruined the indie space.
In what way?
It popularized the sort of game that I hate.
The artsy-fartsy game?
The atmospheric puzzle platformer.
I love that, though.
You love that? I played one... okay. This is my quick what I've been playing. I got Apple Arcade, and I played this atmospheric puzzle platformer called Stella that was on there.
Okay.
And I hated it. All you do is it has pretty backgrounds. You walk right, you pull some boxes around, and you pull some levers, and that's it.
Well, you gotta do a little bit more with it. What was the art style like?
It looks nice.
Okay.
But the thing is...
See, that's where they messed up.
That's the thing, your art style isn't everything.
You're right, I 100% agree.
If art style is 90% of your game, then, screw you. I need to be mentally engaged.
You have to be able to enjoy your games. You have to, like we were talking about last week. I still agree or believe in.
Limbo's boring too, man.
You think so?
The puzzles in that are. Well, also here's why. I have a personal rating system of 1 out of 5 that I keep on a spreadsheet.
Cool.
I gave this a 1.
You gave Limbo a 1 or Stella a 1?
Stella a 1.
Okay.
Limbo, that's a 1.
No!
I hate that type of game.
Come on. First of all, you gotta give it at least a point for being a trailblazer.
No.
Because before that game wasn't even a thing because nobody was brave enough to just sell it as it is. That game existed
before with Another World, back in the late 80s, Another World, the original Prince of Persia, that cinematic platformer that was brought back when Xbox Live started showing indies, and that I hate that kind of game.
Dude, but Limbo, man, I love I never will forget just seeing that spider for the first time. Got me hooked. And then just playing that game, doing the boxes, all that. Maybe the death scenes got to me too, with just seeing you just kill a kid. That's fun too.
I have a liberal arts theory. That kind of art
4.
style and shit, I was unimpressed just because.
Well, that's why I was like, oh, maybe you just don't like the artsy fartsy type of game.
No, because a lot of them bank on the novelty of you not seeing that art style before and it just being fresh.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, BioShock wasn't impressive to me, like, aesthetically or story-wise, because a lot of it's like...
The first one.
Hey, check out this Art Deco architecture. Check out this, like, commentary on Ayn Rand.
Okay.
My dad's a Republican architect. I grew up with Art Deco books in my house, and I also grew up with a copy of The Fountainhead. Like... Okay. The novelty of just like, oh, check out this video game that's tackling Ayn Rand politics and Art Deco atmosphere and whatnot. I'm like, seeing it, this isn't interesting to me. I'm bored. Your writing's not good enough to back up the novelty of it.
Well, what's the game from?
I played on PC and they did not tune the mouse.
How did they screw that up?
Easy.
You got to get that right on PC.
Like, there was a good 10 years between like 2015 or 2005 and 2015 where PC ports were garbage.
I heard about those dark ages. I was PC or gaming on console at that point.
Like I finished playing the Singularity back into my what I've been playing from 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a bare bones PC port and the mouse just felt like garbage. But yeah, it's E3, baby.
We watch our show because we chat it up.
Yeah. It's me and Mike this week. It's going all over the place. It's really
going everywhere when it's just us two.
Yeah, but Death's Door looks adorable, and I love birds, and it's a cute little crow. Man.
What was that other game you were telling me about? With the little birds, they had their own island, but it wasn't just birds.
A Short Hike.
That game is amazing. I finally played it. I beat it too. Oh my god!
Yeah,
I love that game.
It's one of my favorite narrative. See, that's how you do like an indie game with an art style and you just walk around. That's how you do it.
That is a good game.
That's how you do the atmospheric walkabout game.
And I don't even like that style. But for a Short Hike, loved it.
Yeah, it's all about I will need to walk around this island, get to the high point to get cell phone reception. And
yeah, that's it.
There's so much more to it, and it's so beautiful.
I'm like, dude, I love that game. You have to get used to the art style because it's a DS.
I love it. They put it's a 3D game, but they put like a filter over it to make it look pixelated and shitty.
Yeah. I can see why you love it, and I got used to it. And usually an art style can actually make or break a game for me, or camera usually. But that was one of those things that grew on me where the more I saw it, my eye got used to it. Because like when you see a game, at least for me, when I see it and it's in this HD era, I always think it should be crisp right away. And then my eye never got adjusted to, okay, when is it going to ever go 1080? And then when I thought, okay, it's a DS game, even though it's not, but in my head I had to tell me it's a DS game. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is a great looking DS game.
But even though it was visually harder for you to get into, but it's still fun just going around the island.
Oh, great game.
Like the way you move and just the interactions with the people on the island are just so entertaining.
Yeah. I think like you said, interaction and all that, gameplay overshadowed my feelings towards the art style pretty quickly. So I was hooked. Like by the time I started like shoveling for money, like digging up for myself, and just like,
which you don't even need to do.
I just love doing it.
Yeah,
and that made the game super easy. I felt rich because you didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
But I did
but then
it.
You get those feathers, so you could like.
Oh my god!
When
that
you
made
fly, it feels so good.
Dude, man, I was OP with those, but.
Yeah.
Check out A Short Hike. Anyway, back to it.
Back to our indie game love, man. Like, when I hit an indie game that I love, it feels so good because I am attracted to the bells and whistles of like the better animations and like graphics of AAA games. But next game I'm looking forward to is called Gloomwood. Did you see the gameplay trailer?
Gloomwood?
They describe it as Thief with Guns. So it's a first-person stealth game, but...
Yeah, hit me with it.
Yeah, first-person stealth game that has a graphical style that harkens back to Thief, so like it looks like a late 90s game.
So not the reboot, not the
no,
remake.
No, not the
okay.
remake. But yeah, that graphical style still looks good to me.
The old 90s, like
because I grew up with that stuff, so it still looks.
That's fair.
If you have your art style match the limitations of the graphics and work within that, it still looks good. And yeah, like the Thief 1 and 2 are two of my favorite games of all time. Like they're my favorite. It's my favorite stealth franchise, and they're going back to that style of first-person stealth, just sneaking around in the shadows, and you're having the immersive sim elements. So you have all these simulated elements of the game going on, and you can play around in that space.
Right.
Thief, and because they're the tagline is Thief with guns. It's not just stealth.
Right.
You have a revolver. You have a shotgun. You have like a cane sword. So rather than pure stealth, they want you to go out there and like if you get into a jam, they want you to shoot your way out of it. But it has the survival horror elements where the enemies are freaky and you do have a limited amount of ammo, so you need to pick and choose your fights. Mildly horror. Okay. But it's more stealth than horror. Yeah. I'm so excited for this because there hasn't.
Who's making it?
I have it listed on that Discord I sent you.
That's okay.
But it's made by two guys. It's being published by Bad Blood.
I can check it out now. Because you're the last guy I was talking to.
Because I love the first. The third Thief game is great, but I love the first two Thief games a lot. My favorite stealth games, and there hasn't been a first-person stealth game like this since Neon Struct, which is a indie game that came out 5-6 years ago.
Okay, what's the name of it again? It's called
Gloomwood.
Gloomwood. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
But yeah, this type of stealth game, I've been craving it. And since Square Enix's Thief reboot didn't sell well, we'll never get a mainstream.
I thought it was fun though.
Yeah,
I didn't play the first one to be fair, but I still liked it.
It's a fun stealth game. It's just not a good Thief game.
Okay,
so I had the expectation. I still had fun with it because I had the expectation of this isn't going to be like the first 3 Thief games. And I'm like, okay, it's not.
Right.
It's what I expected, and it's fine. So I know a lot of people were just butthurt because this isn't like original Thief. Right. Of course
why didn't you just copy it like I wanted you to?
Yeah, why
didn't you just play the original?
Go back and play the original, or play Neon Struct because that plays like the original.
Right.
Or play Gloomwood now, so that's filling that niche.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, great looking.
So Gloomwood
actually looks really good.
Yeah, it looks cool,
especially for the style they're going for. I could definitely see this. Back then.
Next indie I want to talk about is Wolfstride.
Wolfstride.
I think they first showed this last year, but Wolfstride is a mech role-playing game / management RPG.
Okay. Mech role-playing game / management.
Yeah. It's like so you're it's one-on-one fights where you're managing a giant mech against another giant mech in one-on-one battles.
Is it like Football Manager, but for mechs?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
There's a demo out now as part of Steam Next Fest where they check out Steam right now. They have up to 700 demos available for upcoming games.
Okay.
Yeah. And Wolfstride's demo is available there. I'm planning on checking it out later. Yeah, so you have these turn-based RPG battles where you're controlling the mechs. And then after the battles, you're playing manager to those mechs. So I think you're trying to build up promotion for your next fight. You're trying to manage your parts, like how much funds you have to repair or upgrade your mech, that sort of thing. I'm excited for it. It's got a cool 2D art style.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up. It looks actually really dope. Holy crap.
Yeah. I'm excited for it, man.
Dude, it looks... The only thing... I'm not confused.
Download the demo.
Is it an RPG? No, it's not.
It's an RPG.
So it's an RPG.
Or it might be more strategy sim. I don't know. Genres blend together.
Yeah, they do. Because I'm looking at this. I'm like, I had to definitely look at it to get a better idea of it.
Yeah, the art style is super weeby, which I'm into.
I do like that stuff. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
definitely not bad.
And then, as a hack and slash aficionado, lover of all things Devil May Cry, Soulstice is the next thing on my list. Where
Soulstice.
Yeah, it looks like a indie Devil May Cry like. It's got a kind of metal.
Well, Devil May Cry is always
aesthetic. Yeah.
That's
You got a girl with a big sword and looks like she has a ghost.
10 out of 10.
She has a ghost companion that helps with range attacks. Kind of looks like a stand from JoJo. But yeah, hack and slash. I dig it. I'll check it out. The problem with indie hack and slashes, though, they'll never hit they'll never be on par with little kitty. They'll never be on par with the AAA hack and slash games, just because
Not deep mechanics.
sometimes they do though, but the execution's not quite there.
Right.
Because those games are so built on the animations,
Right.
and like the timing of all that stuff, and animation is one of the most expensive things
Of course.
in making video games. So
And just like creation in general. Like
Yeah.
if you make a cartoon.
just having that kind of movement and having those gameplay systems to have it at 60 frames per second and have it look good are just hard to execute.
That's gonna be a bear to do. But
So-
the reason I brought up is not as deep is because I feel like when I play those hack and slash like indie games or AA type games, I feel like they have a great moveset. Maybe not as deep as probably not the best term, but I think you're right with animation. Like I'm thinking about One Chabara.
One Chanbara,
Yeah, that's one I just started playing, just messing around with it. It wasn't that much. I was like,
yeah,
cool.
They're relatively simple.
Yeah, I was.
But yeah,
it's missing something. That's
other games. I mean, the Devil May Cry, you could have all that variety because they have the budget to make all the animations for those weapons and all that stuff.
And I love that game. I still play.
Yeah, the last one indie DMC like I played was Assault Spy, and that's worth checking out.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be one of the best indie DMC likes I've played.
Okay.
Assault Spy, and they have like 2 playable characters in it. It's good. I like it a lot. But again, if you expect it to be on par with a Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, you will be disappointed. Don't.
Yeah, I'm like, don't even. Like, if you want
if you're
deep,
yeah,
play those
just replay
games.
those.
I'm like, what are you doing?
But if you're starving for a DMC like, definitely check out Assault Spy. I'll be checking out Soulstice since it was a decade between Devil May Cry 4 and 5, so I'll check out Soulstice. Who knows if we'll ever get another Devil May Cry again. But also, hopefully, Itsuno and his team are working on Dragon's Dogma 2. Mm-hmm. Personally, I would prefer Devil May Cry 6 over Dragon's Dogma 2, but that's because I'm a dumb jock. Look at my guns.
Look at his muscles.
I like hacking.
Yeah, look at his muscles.
I don't like thinking when I play games. That's why I hate indie games like Limbo.
You don't have to think of that game.
No, dude.
You probably like Darkest Dungeon.
No. Again, too much, too thinky.
You like Hades.
I do like Hades.
I love Hades.
I love that game.
That was my game of the year.
That is a whole tangent
that's
we're
a
not
whole...
getting into. Alright. Now for Mike's indie highlights. Demon Throttle.
Yes, take me.
From the developers of Gato Roboto, which is one of my, I think that's the last Metroidvania I've played. You play as a cat who jumps into a mech suit. That looks like Samus's power armor.
Dude.
It's a great, fun, bite-sized Metroidvania.
Right.
You could beat it in 3 to 4 hours, which means it'll take Mike a year and a half to beat it.
You know, right? You're probably more accurate.
But I know you have that on Steam and you haven't played it. Definitely get around to do it. It's so fun and charming, and it's not as deep as like a Metroid game, but it's just if you want the taste of a Metroid game, it hits it perfectly. And it's adorable.
Is it on Xbox Game Pass?
It's on. I don't know. Probably. Check it out.
Okay,
What isn't on Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah, you don't bother with
But
that garbage.
It's a little, you can jump to, because you don't have a morph ball. Your cat just jumps out of the power
Jumps
armor,
out of it,
and then the cat just crawls into crawls through tall spaces. But
that's hilarious.
yeah,
He's probably
play
the same
Gato.
size as
Everyone
Link.
should play Gato Roboto.
Gato
It's super cute,
Robot.
super
that means
fun.
Cat robot.
Yes, but Demon Throttle is the same developer. This is a top-down shooter being published by Devolver Digital.
Yes. The good guys.
Interestingly, at least for now, Physical only.
Really? Wow.
On Switch.
That's crazy. I'm totally getting it,
Pre-order now. But yeah, top-down shooter.
Really?
It's appealing to Mike. It's his speed.
I did not know that. I'm going to still get it, but Did they explain why they're doing it like that?
I think just for the novelty of it.
Okay. Just because, like, the game reminds me of an NES game, so might as well treat it like
it looks
an
like
NES game.
those classic NES, SNES bullet hell games.
Dude.
Which, as a fan of Gato Roboto, I'm not going to check this one out because I don't like bullet hell. I tend not to like bullet hell games, so I'm not going to check it out. But
see it as like
the art style
bullet
looks
hell
great.
Game.
There's a lot of bullets on screen.
Yeah, but you've seen like legit ones where you can't even you can move like this.
So it's more of a shmup than pure bullet hell. It's for sure shmup, not dipping into bullet hell.
Dude, there's a perfect comparison to this game, and this is why I want it, and I'm drawing a blank. It was a cowboy game on the NES. And you have to shoot with B to shoot left, A to shoot to the right, and hit both to shoot straight.
I know what
you know what I'm talking about? That's what this game reminds me of to the umpteenth degree, and this is like a modernized version of this. And it's gonna bother me, and if you're watching this, I'm so sorry, because I know that feeling.
The name Blazing Saddles is in my head, but I know that's the...
I know it's not it, but...
Because Blazing Saddles sounds like it could be a cowboy shmup game.
Right. Oh
Blazing Saddles!
I'm gonna just...
Press start.
I'm going for it. I'm gonna just... Cowboy...
I know what game you're talking about. I think it's made by Konami?
Yes. Oh my...
The name Radiant Silvergun is in my head too, but that's also not it.
Oh, Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke.
There we go.
No, yeah. Gunsmoke was an old show from the 60s, right?
Yeah, but it was
also
yeah. Or is it Sunset Riders?
Sunset Riders, that's it.
Okay.
Sunset Riders.
Yeah,
Sunset Riders.
Okay.
Yes, I know. Yes, Sunset Riders. It was made by Konami.
Let me see.
Look it up, Mikey. Look it up. Look it up, Mikey. Look it up. Go Ichiro.
He's a great man.
Something we'll talk about on our race podcast.
Developers.
He broke the Asian
barrier. Konami. Yep. Konami definitely was the group. They were the guys. But okay. Look, see?
Yeah. Okay.
You'll show it.
Well, I'm not going to show Sunset Riders. That's a whole nother...
This is Gunsmoke.
That's Gunsmoke? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole clip that I'm going to have to rip, and I'm not going to rip that.
What if
you want to show it, put it up to the screen.
I'm like, I
put it up to the camera. I'm not ripping this.
Well, I didn't know.
It's E3. I had to rip so many clips already. I'm not ripping.
Well, that's why I even
I'm not
mentioned
ripping non-E3. Yeah, it's barely picking it up. Okay, yeah, we got it.
There we go. See, looks definitely like it.
Smoke.
And
all right, let's move on.
This looks like 2006. Hey, guy.
All right.
It's a video from 2006 YouTube.
Next indie game. This is my pick. Replaced.
Where are you replacing it with?
Cute. They showed this at the Xbox conference, coming to PC. It's a console launch exclusive, which is
finally,
which is one of Xbox's favorite terms. Console launch exclusive.
Because they can't just say exclusively with Xbox. Those words don't exist.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Can I also mention?
I gotta talk about Replaced first. Let me talk about Replaced.
That magic spoon tastes like milk was in my mouth, bro.
A little bit.
Okay.
Easy there. I saw the screens come up.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could not hold that. Bro, it felt like I was drinking milk. What the heck is wrong with that?
It has that milky aftertaste.
Bro, what the heck?
But Replaced...
I'm sorry.
This has a cool, pixel art style. Looks to be sci-fi noir. At first, I was like, ugh, another atmospheric indie puzzle platformer.
Oh my god.
Why
do you hate them so?
It just showed a cool art style in the main character walking right. Mm-hmm. I'm like, give it a chance, bro. But then it showed the main character cutting dudes up, kind of punching guys, doing melee combat. I'm like, alright, I'm in, I'll check this out.
Sounded like Katana Zero for a moment.
Yeah. This seems like Where Death's Door is the ultra fast-paced indie action game. This looks to be slower paced, kind of more methodical, kind of brooding. It's got like the dark noir cyberpunk aesthetic to it, so I'm
Cyberpunk.
I'm excited for replace. Hey man, that's GOTY 2020. And you wanted to talk about, because you love Limbo, Trek to Yomi, which was announced at Devolver Digital.
Yes. Now, Trek to Yomi. It's funny that we've talked about Limbo so much in this episode alone, because that game looks like if the Limbo kid grew up and was Asian the whole time. And now he's samurai. Congrats. I guess you could be samurai and not be Asian.
This has a way... Yasuke, streaming now on Netflix.
Nago.
Good old Nago. He's black, you know.
See, he's samurai too, though.
Yes. Love how the Arc System Works developers like, his name's not Noriyuki, but
I like
he's
that
not
video
Japanese. Like, you think? You think?
Dude.
Okay. It's like, we get it. He's a black guy. He's not Japanese.
I did not notice how much they beat around the bush till I saw your video.
Yeah.
Like, dude, they just couldn't say, well, he black.
It's like, we used
black, bro.
a character design that we haven't used before in an Arc System Works game.
Dark skin.
You mean black? He's black.
Exactly.
Like, he's clearly not like every other Arc System Works game.
Right. Like the closest black person they had is Ramlethal.
Ramlethal, Guilty Gear.
That's the closest.
The cat back something up.
What is the kitty cat doing?
And also, Soul Bad Guy, who, with his last name reveal in the story of Guilty Gear Strive, he's likely an Indian American. Not Native American, Indian American. Because a lot of Freddie Mercury influence in that character in Soul Bad Guy, so it makes sense that he may or may not be Indian.
There's a lot of just heavy metal and Guilty Gear together,
but Trek to Yomi looks like indie trash. Well, no, this has combat in it, so as a dumb Chad, as a
you should feel that muscle, bro.
As a dumb Chad.
Look at that, bro.
As a dumb Chad, anything with combat, I'll be like, "Good, it's so cool. I gotta play that." Yo, bro, I gotta go to Wrigley. I gotta go to Wrigley. All right. This ensemble magically activates the Brody Downs character, bro. My favorite top five things to do in the summer.
Brewskis.
Go see the Cubs, bro.
Oh, God, stop.
Number 2.
There's 4
Get
more.
ripped in Wrigleyville. Number 3. Shout out on some of that Mickey D's that's across the street from Wrigley.
Oh, stop.
Number 4. Throw up on the corner of Clark and Addison, baby. And number 5 favorite thing to do in the summer. Go down and get some Jenny's ice cream after the ball game.
Oh, stop. Oh. You're not having the best team in the
And that's the
city.
end of, that's that appearance from Brody Downs, who only makes top whatever lists.
I loved it, 10 out of 10.
If you want to see more Brody Downs content, subscribe to Game Center USX.
I loved it.
But Trek to Yomi, atmospheric platformer
That you hate so much
with some combat. There's samurai combat. If you like Limbo, which he does, if you like Ghost of Tsushima, which he does, check out Trek to Yomi.
What if you like Sekiro? Sekiro's not a samurai. Disregard that.
He's a ninja.
He's a ninja. That's like the thing.
The Code of Iron.
I love that game. I'm not even good at it. My next game. What's my next game?
Now we talk about the big boys. But first, award regarding my favorite fashion of E3 2021. To celebrate the shirtless E3 streams that I did, let's talk about my favorite fashions from the conference. But first, let's start off with the worst dressed. Jack from Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. With his boots, black jeans, fingerless gloves, and Henley, Jack looks like he's been touring all summer with his terrible nu metal band and just hasn't had a change of clothes for months. Now on to the good. Though we only got a teaser, the new femme fatales of River City Girls 2 are sporting an eye-catching look that reflects their active lifestyle and shows us that they'll be wrecking River City with flair and panache. Excellent. Next up, we have Sombra from Overwatch 2. Sombra's wardrobe change in the sequel is a simple but elegant refresh on an already fabulous design. She maintains her new unique silhouette and cyberpunk purple color scheme, but adds new touches, most noticeably showing off her toned shoulders. Yum. Fetish ahoy! And to conclude my favorite fashions, we have Kisara, one of the newly announced party members from Bandai Namco's Tales of Arise, sporting white paladin armor with a mace and massive shield. It's an ensemble that conveys sturdiness and dependability, while showing off her elegance and femininity. Kisara's fashion is lawful good. Scratch that, lawful great. Wink. And those are my favorite outfits from E3 2021. Thanks, me, for that fashion update. What was your favorite fashion from the show?
When you got naked?
Dude, yes. Those were fun streams. Not gonna lie, everybody should check out...
You got some big nipples.
I do. I got those milk dud nips, man.
Dude, man. Huge.
Brown nips.
Man. You almost got to censor those. If you were fat, you would have to censor them.
My drink almost went down the wrong tube, but I saved it. And also, hey.
Hi.
Senpai, do you have anything to say? And if you didn't send me a video package, I know he's excited for Shin Megami Tensei 5,
yes,
which they
announced.
Officially gave a release date.
Yes.
They showed a gameplay trailer at Nintendo, and also they had a blowout on the mechanics that are coming to it in Treehouse after the press conference. But yeah, it looks like more Shin Megami Tensei, that they have that classic SMT combat system where you're exploiting weaknesses to take advantage and protecting yourself from getting hit by those same weaknesses. Demon negotiations where you're trying to figure out that little situations to recruit new party members. Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei always delivers. Senpai's excited for SMT5. Me, my JRPG energy is going to be devoted to other stuff this winter. Tales of Arise, which, if you saw my fashion update, they announced a new character, Kisara, who's a paladin.
Right.
And then they also announced a new character who's a man, so I don't care about him. But he's got a bow staff. I might finally take my first dive into the Tales series, because today they announced embargo lifted on gameplay impressions and gameplay videos from outlets. And people are saying the changes they made to the gameplay are a real shot in the arm for the franchise that was kind of stay last generation. But yeah, I'm excited to jump into Tales of Arise. It's going to be...
Well, congrats. Yeah,
it's going to be tough to get into September, because it's coming out a week away from Deathloop, and Deathloop has my priority for
dude, Deathloop's up September. There for me, too.
Yeah, dude. Arcane always makes great games, and Arcane announced a game at Xbox's press conference, but I don't remember if I've talked about this at the top of the show or if it was before we started recording. But I have a no non-announcement policy. So that means if you're just showing a logo, if you're just saying something has started development, even if it's just a CG trailer, get the fuck out of here. I'm not talking about you. You are a non-announcement.
Yeah, that was prior.
There are certain exceptions to it, but I'm planning... Hey, subscribe to the Game Center USX channel. I'm planning on making a jocular, spectacular video where I get into the concept of the non-announcement, what defines a non-announcement, and I'll show a bunch of different examples throughout history of the non-announcement and why I'm not talking about certain big games.
Metroid Prime 4.
Yes, that is for sure a non-announcement. Especially then they go on and reboot development, and then they talk about, like, hey, at this year's E3, are we going to see Metroid Prime 4? Like, We assure you Metroid Prime 4 is in development, but moving on. So we're big stuff. We are not talking about it. If Mike wants to bring it up, feel free. Okay. Right on.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Good looking out, fam.
Yes.
As people
Yes.
say. As the young people say.
The children.
It is lit. This guy is straight fire. But the big thing. The big thing. The most important thing. That clap threw me off.
I didn't mean to distract you like my cat.
The thing I'm 100% most excited for. We talked about this last week. Elden Ring, the next game from Software, where it looks to be take that Souls formula to a new level.
Open world,
6 different zones. We have mounts. We have mounted combat. It looks like they're adding in stealth elements from Sekiro.
Yes.
You could jump, so that's a new element to combat.
You think that's going to make it easier?
No.
Okay.
I hope they maintain the difficulty. But they throughout E3, there's been interviews, particularly IGN, with Hidetaka Miyazaki, who's the president of From Software and also the director for Elden Ring. So they talk about new elements. There's going to be like 100 different skills and the way you could customize what skills you're equipping and whatnot. So that's going to be interesting. They talked about IGN cheekily called it a Pokemon-like system, where you can collect the souls of enemies and then summon them to help you in combat.
Okay.
So, what we saw in the initial gameplay trailer of the Blue Phantoms coming up, those were NPC characters, so those may have been different enemy types that we killed, and we could collect their souls and then summon them to help us in combat. Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be their biggest game yet. George R.R. Martin, with his influence with the story, there's going to be some more direct storytelling rather than the environmental and, I appreciate the way the Souls games tell a story where you have to read the item descriptions, the side lore. But if they do more direct things and have more complex characters with that George R.R. Martin influence, I'm in it, baby. Just give me the game. I don't have to see anything more from it. They gave us the release date of January
21st.
Yeah,
right?
January 21st, 2022. I'm good, man. Just show me a collector's edition. Let me pre-order it. I swore off collector's editions, and I haven't gotten any in years.
But this is different.
It's a Souls game, baby.
Oh my god!
If they have a sick, ill statue, I'm in.
You like statues now?
I've always liked statues. I stopped getting collector's editions because I would just end up selling them on eBay later. I still have my Sekiro collector's edition.
Oh, okay.
That was my last one.
I was like, why don't you just wait for that collector's edition to be on eBay? No, you can't wait.
I can't wait. Especially if they have a steelbook edition.
You don't want the scuffs and all that.
Yeah,
that's fair.
The next biggie, I think this was the announcement I most popped for at Xbox. Forza Horizon 5. Because this one we didn't expect to get this soon.
Right.
Because last game in the Forza series was Horizon 4, and they usually switch off Horizon, Motorsport, Horizon. So, I guess Motorsport 8 is still in the cooker. I think they're
saving that all for next year.
Next year.
Yeah,
next year we'll get Motorsport 8. But yeah, Horizon 5. The thing is, what hasn't gotten me into Horizon, they're consistently good racing games. But, again, they're releasing them like every other year.
Right.
Just like the Tales games where I've never gotten into it. It's always been, I'll get it next time. And then each one keeps getting better and better.
Yeah,
so it's
and
just
you keep
like
pushing it back and back.
I'll get it next time. Because I was actually thinking about, like, I was kind of in the mood for a racing game, and I was thinking about getting Forza Horizon 4.
Right.
They just dropped this, coming out later this year. October 26th, I believe. I'll get the next one.
Why don't you just get Game Pass?
I'm not gonna get a Game Pass.
It's only like $5-10 on PC.
it's $120 a month or a year for a year, man. I don't want that.
Well, yeah, but aren't you gonna play? Well, that's the thing. Are you gonna play other games?
I already have a backlog. I already have other games.
Well, you can always get a bigger backlog.
Most of the games I'm into aren't coming to Game Pass anyways. So.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I started Yakuza 0 in January, and I still haven't beat. I'm still in chapter 2 of that game.
So hard to finish.
But and at Xbox they announced like the entire mainline Yakuza series on Game Pass now. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, Kiwami.
That doesn't appeal to me because I've already played half of them. First of all, second of all, it's so hard for me to get into because they're great games. They start out so slow.
Yes.
But Horizon 5 looks like more Horizon, but better, which looks great. But will I find the time to play it? Probably not. Because, like I've talked about in the past couple episodes, I have open world burnout.
I definitely know that feeling, yeah.
Just an open world racing game is like,
Burnout Paradise. Did you play that?
No.
Oh, dude, fun.
So,
but you definitely can get burnout from that.
Yeah, but this is definitely the one I popped more because, we're getting Horizon sooner than we thought.
Right.
And also, we know it's a known quantity. It looks great, and with how great Forza Horizon 4 was, according to critics and pretty much anyone who's played it, it's arguably the best racing game ever made. Like, this is going to be... I don't see them taking away features, so this is going to be on par, if not better. Forza Horizon 4, man. 5.
5, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so soon. I'm still in the 4 mindset.
Well, see, that's the beauty of when a game is made by the company that is trying to sell the system.
Yeah.
Because they know all their money comes from the system. So if you have this exclusive thing, you're not going to poison it with all of the loot boxes and micro transactions and all that. Not necessarily, because if your game's good, people are going to want to just buy the system.
Well, the thing is, Microsoft, it's not... Their money comes from software.
Right.
Not the hardware. So, like, as long as you buy Game Pass...
Yeah, they changed it. They changed it around. But it used to be like that even for them, I feel.
No, it's never been. It's always been about software.
So?
Yeah, they sell consoles at a loss initially.
Oh,
because they make up for it in software sales.
Well, yeah, PlayStation does that too. What
and
I
then
mean
licensing of like different
stuff. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. I'm on that page with you, but what I'm saying is the games are the reason people buy the system.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by not by the actual economics of it, because you're right, they sell it at a loss.
So,
what I mean by if you buy this game, if you don't have any of the you don't need to put all the garbage into your games because the game is the reason why people are going to buy your system.
You have the game to attract the people to the system, and then once they buy the system, they're in that ecosystem to keep buying the software.
They keep buying, and if they buy more stuff, that's more rights to you because everybody has to pay a percentage to you anyway, using your store or using your your disc. Yeah. So that's what I meant.
I don't want to. If your cat. We can't interrupt the pod another time, but if your cat comes near the laptop, I'm gonna have to.
Oh no, I'm gonna stop him too since it's actually on.
You have to stiff arm him.
No, I got you because I'm watching him too, making sure he.
Cute little bugger.
I'm like, I don't know how he landed. Oh well, let's help him out by taking off that right there. Yeah. But yeah, we'll stop him. I'll stop him. Yeah.
But the next thing I'm excited for, baby.
What's up? What you excited for?
Babylon's Fall. Well, here's the thing. I was excited for Babylon's Fall. Babylon's Fall is the new Platinum Games hack and slash game being published by Square Enix. And we first heard about it, I think 3 years ago.
You make that note. You were like...
3 years ago. And then we got a story. I'm not going to move my hand, kitty. We got a story trailer. And then last year we got a brief gameplay trailer. And then this year we finally got the Babylon's Fall blowout. And initially it was teased that it's going to be a 4-player co-op game with the initial trailer. and confirmed 4-player co-op, which is, they've never really done that before. But here's what took the wind out of my sails. Okay. So, 4-player co-op hack and slash game.
Right.
How do you think they're going to monetize it? Live service, baby.
Live service.
Confirm.
Yeah.
So
live
they can.
service.
So this action hack and slash platinum action game I was excited for. Confirmed live service game, confirmed battle passes.
Oh, battle pass. Oh, that means you gotta buy stuff instantly when a battle pass is.
I know the action's gonna be good, and I signed up for the closed beta, so
is it free?
No, of course not. It's gonna be like the Avengers model again.
Oh no! Oh, the Anthem model.
Yeah, new content.
The Evolve model.
New content's probably gonna be free. No, Evolve you have to pay for characters.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is a shame because Evolve was a fucking excellent game.
Too bad they killed themselves.
It's still
with that stupid business.
Yeah,
greed.
2K.
2K.
2K's got to be greedy.
What if they announced Evolve 2?
No.
And diversity. That would have probably got more hate than what they did by itself. But yeah.
Babylon's Fall. Just they announcing everything that I don't want. Like pretty much everything. Here's everything that killed Avengers. We're doing it in this game, but I trust Platinum Games to make a better action game.
Yeah, that's the
than
thing.
Crystal Dynamics. So for sure, the action's gonna be better. If I get into the closed beta, I'll definitely be talking about it.
Yeah.
But Babylon's Fall was a game I wanted to see more of. They delivered. I saw more of it, and I did not like what I saw. So that's
always a good sign. Like that game that Sega just brought out. What was the name of that? Balan's World?
Balan Wonderland.
Yeah, Balan Wonderland.
Which the director, Yuji Naka, quit Square Enix, and he's possibly retiring after this game.
Yeah, because he forgot how to make
good
games.
Such a big flop. That's the thing with a lot of those creators from the early 90s. It's like,
yeah, man, it's not crazy.
Hey, you did not... Where have you been for the past 20, 30 years?
Think about evolving.
Like, you took your finger off the pulse and then just...
It's like
people
love my game, and no one will ever make anything close to my game when I'm gone, right?
It's like,
no, people loved your game, and they evolved your game. You should have probably watched what they evolved your game into.
It's like that band who just... Well, never mind.
No, hit me with it.
I was going to be like, it's that band that didn't keep up with, like... They kept doing the same thing. But then, like, no, those are generally successful because, like, the audience of that band wants that thing.
Oh, like a pop band, like one of those.
Yeah, but then, like, if like a band tries to, like, hey, this is what the kids are into, let's do that. That usually fails for them.
Yeah, the experiment.
So that's like the opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
That's the opposite.
It's the opposite, but it still stands because it's so perfect the opposite way that you could just be like, it's literally the opposite of this because. Keiji Inafune, the Mega Man.
He's out of touch.
Yeah, he's out.
You're out of touch. That meme.
Sonic creator.
Yeah. Yuji Naka.
Yeah, Yuji Naka. And
wait, he was the Sonic creator, right?
Yeah. And I'm thinking of another Sega guy, and I'm drawing him. Oh, Shenmue 3. Yeah, I forget his name.
Shenmue 3, yeah.
The father of Sega.
That
he's
audience still bought
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Miyamoto.
Suckers!
He's like Star Fox Zero sucked, dude.
But he knows how to. He's just now helping.
He's
others.
A producer, and he's mostly hands off.
He hasn't been a director in so long that
Star Fox
he
Zero
knows.
Which
was that the last one he actually directed? Okay.
He also had Project Giant Robo, which never came out.
Okay, even if Star Fox Zero was the last game he directed, it was only bad because of camera issues. If he wasn't stuck in his ways of we're gonna have camera 1 is on here, camera 2 is up there, and people are gonna learn to do this. You're not.
Port it and ditch the handheld mechanics.
Hey, they put everything else on Switch.
I know.
You think they would do Zero? You think they'll put Zero on?
But to get the train rolling on this E3, because I'm getting hungry.
Choo-choo.
Stranger in Paradise. This is again something that was rumored and I wanted to see. Stranger in Paradise Final Fantasy Origin It's the Final Fantasy spin-off that takes place in the setting of Final Fantasy 1 that's being developed by Team Ninja, specifically the Neo team.
Okay.
So it's, Final Fantasy Souls-like. The gameplay looks... If you want to download the demo on PS5 right now, it's available.
On PS5?
Yeah, PS5 exclusive demo.
Say less. I'll do it as we speak.
It looks fine.
After you hyped it up,
I watched a video of the whole demo. The art direction, the tone of it, I hate. It's super edgelordy. Like,
well, it's Final Fantasy.
No, it's like.
And the guys who made Ninja Gaiden.
Final Fantasy can be weirdly awesome. This one's like hot topic edgelordy.
Oh, that far, okay. I like Final Fantasy 15.
I'm gonna kill chaos. I'm gonna break your face when they do like weird finishes.
I have no emotions, but like all the women are gonna want to sleep with me.
Like the lines that the characters say when they do finishers, it's like super cheesy. Of like, my name's Rick Badass, and I'm gonna be a badass. Oh, woo! I'm super cool, and I'll kick your ass.
Oh, it rhymes.
Yeah, something awful. It's just awful stuff like that. But again, like, if I get my hands on it, it'll be different from how it looks.
What is it called? Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy Origin.
Origin.
Stranger in Paradise. Final Fantasy Origin.
Okay. You can check it out.
Which is...
After this.
We have to get Nomura off of creative for specific...
There you go.
Yeah, for the Final Fantasy franchise. Because he gets these stupid, bloated, weird titles that are off-putting. Like Stranger in Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. That's the longest title I've ever had to type for all of E3.
Dude, I'm like, I couldn't even remember it. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
Yeah, but the thing is, Team Ninja, they're a solid action developer. So as long as and also with Team Origin, not Team Origin, oh god. With Team Ninja, with Neo 2, they release a couple alphas and betas before the game comes out. And they actually listen to the feedback and incorporate the feedback to make the games better. Mm-hmm. So I hope they keep the trend and keep doing more betas and demos and just keep making the game better. Like the game, the art direction, the light is super dark and all the characters wear black. Mm-hmm. So like,
so you can't see.
You know they hit when you see an effect. Otherwise, from the video gameplay demo I was watching, I was just like, you could barely see anything. Add some lighting, for Christ's sake. I know it's edgelordy and you're all about killing chaos and it's the
you don't need to see
E3. Add some lighting into the game. Jesus Christ. But again, the gameplay delivers with that team, and I trust that team to make a good action game. But we'll see.
We'll see. And we'll probably end up playing the demo a little tonight.
Yeah.
Since I just downloaded it, so.
But the other thing I want to talk about from Square Enix, they revealed Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which...
I totally forgot. We talked about it, I still forgot.
It looks like, again, it looks like Marvel Mass Effect. You have your team, it's a action RPG in space. You have dialogue choices that affect the story.
Right. In
combat, you have team-based setups where you only play Peter Quill, Star-Lord, and then you have your elemental gun. So you're using your elemental attacks to set up... You're using your elemental attacks to set up different combos you can do with your team, because you select the attacks that your teammates are using. Like, you could slow down combat and like, okay, I did this setup, now I want Gamora to land this attack to do a damage bonus on that thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it looks like the kind of game I'm into in terms of just being an action RPG. Like, you're focusing a lot on team dynamics and directing your team to exploit different weaknesses.
And not a live service.
Not a live service. It was great because they shit the bed so hard with Avengers.
Yeah,
they immediately went out like, "Hey, we're making Guardians of the Galaxy. Single player, not live service, no DLC. It's like that's how hard they shit the bed with Avengers, and they wanted to guarantee everybody like, hey, this isn't Avengers. We're making a Mass Effect like experience where I'm interested. I'm a big Guardians of the Galaxy comic book fan.
Okay.
Which is the main thing I'm turned off by this.
Oh,
is like the team composition is based off the movie dynamic.
And I like the movies.
I like the movies, but that's not my favorite setup. That's not my favorite team composition for the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, so there's different Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like with the I like the setup. I like the setup and the shtick and the team dynamic of the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. But let that movie do its thing and let the comics be its own team and do its own thing. Mm-hmm. But what they did with the comics after the popularity of the movie, they had the comics chase the team dynamic.
That's how that usually happens.
And shtick of the movie, which is like, fine, I'll deal with this for a couple of years. But then,
it never changed.
Luckily, the creative team on Guardians of the Galaxy changed, and they we're back to the Guardians of the Galaxy setup dynamic that I like.
Right.
Just like we got a big team, and it's pretty much Avengers in space rather than being like, there's these 5 characters and we're doing comedic shtick all the time.
Yeah.
Again, we're once again going back to, with this game, this is the popular thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. This is pretty much the same dynamic and shtick from the movies. Like I'm already getting this from the movies. I don't need to get it again.
But see, here's the thing.
But the thing is,
you're coming from the side of comic book to this.
I'm the minority of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm coming from the side of movie to this, and I still...
It's like, I've seen the movies. I don't need this exact same thing. Right. Is that where okay. Yeah.
But, and here's the thing, though. Even though I say this, I still want those characters, if you're going to do those characters, please make them look... Just pay the extra money and get Chris Pratt.
Because...
Get the extra money, dude. Come on, stop cheaping out. That's what happened.
Yeah, with Avengers, they were doing their own thing, which I appreciate. This is the one thing I'll compliment Avengers over Guardians of the Galaxy. Avengers, they're doing their own thing. We're having our own interpretations of these characters, and the voice actors aren't going to try to do the things from the movies, which is cool. I dig it. You're doing your own thing.
That's fine.
This one, it's like, hey... We're copying the vibe and aesthetic of the movies. We're even getting the 70s and 80s soundtrack going exactly from the movies. These guys are going to sound like and act like the movie versions of the characters. But we're not going to get the voice actors, and they're not going to try exactly to do the things, but they're going to do it closely.
That bothers me.
Yeah,
because even in Avengers, like you said, they weren't even going for that, and that still bothered a lot of people, and that bothered me. Like, you made this because you're trying to bank off of the movies. Because there's been... Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy has been around for years. Yeah. But you're picking this time because this is what Marvel's about now, is the cinematic universe. Yeah. You're making this to make money off of that. So, stop cheaping out, Square. Even though, like you said, they weren't trying to copy it verbatim.
Okay. Here's what Magic Spoon is good for.
Right. Oh,
get a little barrier. Yeah.
But like for Guardians of the Galaxy, if you're going to copy 1-to-1, you really can't cheap out. Now they look like poor man version and
it looks
lazy.
It looks like a poor man's version of the movie. Even, but I don't know.
I hate it.
Do something different, or do it.
Or do it right.
Go all in with copying the movie, or do something different.
Oh man, don't have to do it.
It's being made by Eidos Montreal, who made the new Deus Ex games, who made the new Thief game. Uh-huh. I trust that team to make a good RPG.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in on it. Like I like the team combat of Mass Effect, and it looks like they're going all in on this, where you have more teammates on the battlefield at once, and you also have more options to select for your attacks that you want your teammates to do. Mm-hmm. So it looks like the combat's more in depth than Mass Effect. And I just trust that team to write a good story and have good RPG choices, because I like the Deus Ex team.
Right.
And also, if I buy this game, and it shows that, like, hey, this team makes money, let that team make the new Deus Ex game for the love of God. You left
them.
Mankind Divided on a bit of a cliffhanger. And thank God. You left that team, left Deus Ex on a bit of a cliffhanger, let that team finish the story.
Right.
But yeah, I will probably get... I'm gonna get it. Because also, they showed some of the alternate skins that'll be in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, they have the Star-Lord that I like, that I have an action figure of. I'm like, okay. I gotta get that. I'm in because I like those characters enough. I like the property enough of like, okay.
That's how nostalgia gets you.
Let's do that. And even if it does well and they don't let that Eidos Montreal make their own thing anymore, if they make another Guardians of the Galaxy and blow it up to include the characters I like, that's all I hope for. I want Novar, aka Marvel Boy, in a video game because his I know it's warm and you want to sit on it, but you gotta cut that out, buddy. It's the wall of Magic Spoon.
Let's see what Magic Spoon can truly do.
Because Novar, Marvel Boy, his power set translates perfectly to video games, but he's not a popular enough character to ever be in a video game unless they make Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I'm like, who?
So I hope in 3 years, and this game sells well enough, we get Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Ideally Deus Ex 3. Actually, like rebooted Deus Ex 3. But I'll take Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So that's our Guardians of the... We talked about that longer than I thought we would, but...
you really love that series. I did not know you were this much of a fan.
I love those comics, man.
I did not know that you were this diehard for Guardians.
Here's something I resent about... I like the Star-Lord in the comics, or no. The Star-Lord in the movies just being a goofball idiot is fine. But the Star-Lord in the comics... Him and Richard Rider did a Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid against Thanos in the Cancerverse, where Star-Lord used a broken cosmic cube as a gun to trap Thanos in the Cancerverse so he couldn't mess up the universe.
Right.
That's the Star-Lord I had reading the comics, of just like this badass hero.
Right.
Who has this misfit team. And then once the popular of the movies happened, like, it's like, hey, we have Captain America. Let's turn him into a joke character now. It's like,
why do that?
Yeah, like you have the jokiness of Star-Lord, but you have that balance of him being this this legitimate
like
team leader.
Right. I thought it was a meme going by.
And then the comics just like... And then like the popular of the movie just took over, and then like... Why is Star-Lord incompetent now? Like he's no Captain America, and he's a bit of an idiot, but he's still a competent leader.
Right.
And everyone like was like... doubted him a little bit, but he still like trusted him enough. And like, no, he's... I don't know.
You know, that reminds me.
But we're finally back. We are finally back to the dynamic of Guardians of the Galaxy that I like in the comics.
Did you ever see the movie The Mask?
With Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, yeah.
I grew up in the 90s, baby.
Exactly. Did you know that what you just explained happened to the Mask comic book? Like, the Mask comic book was nowhere like the movie. It was about just straight violence. Like...
He's like doing weird cartoon violence to gangsters and stuff.
Yeah, but like when he actually like put like a muffler in somebody's head, it actually like deformed their face, like stuff like that. But by the time the Jim Carrey movie came out, the third chapter, I guess, in the Mask universe, it was all goofy after that.
Okay.
And then I think it went back at chapter 4. So it's kind of the same rotation. So I found that interesting. I get why they do it, but I don't get why they do it.
I mean, it's...
because, like, that wouldn't make me want to watch, like, read the comics after that.
Yeah, that's
If you changed it, that
because
doesn't make
again,
it
I'm in the minority and I get why they did it, but it's
yeah,
still
like I said,
annoyed me.
I get it too, but
Shout out Al Ewing. He's probably my favorite writer in Marvel right now.
Ooh.
Thank you for bringing back Guardians of the Galaxy to something I like. And also adding Marvel Boy to the team is just like, oh, feels so good.
What a nerd!
Feels so good, man.
Yeah.
Nerdington Post, baby.
You had a nerdgasm
Hey.
for real.
If you love our full nerd out this episode, subscribe, man. Do us a solid.
Subscribe.
Also, help minorities fight the YouTube algorithm.
God,
Subscribe, man.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Engagement, like, subscribe, comment. Thank you in advance. But
Dude, yeah.
something all of us were looking forward to, except for Senpai. Back for Blood. They finally showed PvP here, which it looks good. They're doing a different thing from Left 4 Dead, which I'm a little iffy about, just because I like how Left 4 Dead did its PvP mode, where you're playing through the campaign mission and it's measuring how far you get on that map, and then you switch. And then you try to see how far you can get in the map while the other opponents play the infected and try to cockblock you.
Right.
And whoever gets further in the map wins that round.
Right.
Whereas this one, they're doing... I think you're fighting on the same map.
Okay.
But as time goes on, the map shrinks. And it adds pressure to the survivors. And then you're seeing who survives longest as the survivors.
Okay.
Because you're gonna die eventually. You can't unlike the Left 4 Dead thing. If you could get to the end of the mission, and then you just win it, and then the other team can get to the end of the mission, and whoever beat it quickest wins it. But this one, it's just survival mode. So you're in this map. The circle is shrinking, and whoever survives longest wins. And then you switch off. Like the guys who used to be infected play the survivors, and then just if the new team could beat the survivors' time, then they win. Or if the previous survivors beat them as infected before that time, it's different. It's cool. I don't know how into it I'll be, just because I know me and my dudes love playing versus on Left 4 Dead 2, and if it's different, I don't know if it's going to appeal to us in the same way, because it seems like, I mean, rightfully so, based on numbers, they're focusing more on the campaign.
Right.
Because that's what most people play.
That's what I was thinking about.
But yeah, because I'm going to play through the campaign once and then mainly play versus, just because I like that interaction of, like, we were playing fighting games earlier. That interaction of man versus man.
I do love me some
trying to get
yeah.
your team to outsmart and outplay the other team. That's way more interesting than just, I guess I'm going through this mission and finding a bunch of AI.
Yeah, that's fair. But even thinking about
the campaigns are good though.
Yeah, I'm like in that game I spent a lot of time in campaign mode, and so because I'm with you usually, I'm all about the man versus man who can outsmart who. That's why I play fighting games. That's why I play FIFA. That's why I play all these versus things. But for that, I'm like, okay, well, I can play the campaign over and over and over. Yeah. And I don't know. I think because if it's like Left 4 Dead 2 or 1, you're gonna get like a random amount of zombies. It's always gonna feel different. Yeah. So I think that's what kept me hooked when I was playing that. So if it's like that, I'll probably end up playing more like that.
And also, the campaign seems more dynamic, the way they have the card system in place, where you could have different modifiers, and also just it has way more enemy types than Left 4 Dead. So
yeah, see, like stuff like that's probably gonna make me play that more. But that doesn't say I'm not gonna play versus, because I played my fair share of versus.
And something about PvP, they have more zombie types than Left 4 Dead. But my problem is they have 3 body types, and then
for the humans,
for the zombies.
Oh, okay.
So there's 3 body types, and then with each 3 body types, they have 3 variants. Okay. My problem though is that with Left 4 Dead, readability was so important. Like being able to tell what zombie was what just based on its silhouette, shape, and all that.
Hunter, spitter.
So by having just only 3 body types with 3 variants each, it makes readability a lot harder.
Yeah, I can't imagine having three things look like a hunter, but they all are doing something different.
There are different, with the 3 variants, there are different visual changes, but the silhouettes are exactly the same.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like, okay, that one has like weird, more exposed chest and like
that
weird,
one has a hoodie.
That one different thing going on, but like, okay, the silhouette is still exactly, like from a distance, I'm seeing that same body type, that silhouette. That's so important about like, which they've talked about with Team Fortress 2 was the start of like, was like the kind of prototype of the hero shooter where like, you need to be able to tell just based on the shape of that guy, you need to be able to tell who that is, what it does, and like, if you with that information from a distance so I can learn to counter it and prepare myself. And by having that reduced readability, that's a bummer. But they're a good team, so I'm sure they've
they've
got
changed it with something else. Maybe a noise, or maybe like
if they have different cues, like different noises, and because like some of them do like
PS5.
One of them had like one of the types I think for the hunter had like an exposed chest where it has a glowing red thing where if you like, oh, that I could see that glowing in the distance, I know that's that variant. So they're a smart team. I'm sure they got together, but I'm so glad we saw Back 4 Blood PvP because we knew it was coming.
Right.
But like since the initial announcement, I think last year we didn't see it until now.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of PvP.
And they're having an open beta. I'm excited to check it out, man.
Ooh,
Back 4 Blood.
And what systems?
I wrote the date down in my notebook, but
that's okay.
You saw that thing. There's like 15 pages of notes with E3, man. I'm not sifting through that.
After post.
But yeah, that's that's the stuff I'm most excited for.
Is it cross-platform? Do you know?
It should.
I'm like, it should. Like,
the thing is,
what are we doing?
It's Warner Brothers, and they're cheap as shit. They always try to stiff you with DLC. I mean, they didn't release cross-platform for Mortal Kombat 11 until a couple months later.
Oh, but they did release it.
They did do it eventually.
I didn't even know that. So
and also,
cool.
I think Turtle Rock...
I legit did not know
just
that.
having PC roots as a developer, there's a better chance that they'll have cross-play at launch.
Yeah.
Also, with first-person shooters, that's kind of expected you launch with cross-play at launch.
Good. Yeah.
Which is weird for Overwatch, that I don't like that they're adding cross-play.
That they're adding it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they specifically tuned balance changes differently based on system. Like,
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we are specifically tuning Torbjorn's turrets for consoles differently.
Yeah, oh my god.
Because
that's going to be terrible.
Torbjorn's turret isn't as much of a problem on PC because everybody could look quicker with mouse combat. So, like, I know Torbjorn, like, turrets were tuned differently between console and PC, and the sniper characters were tuned differently between. And if you had crossplay, it's like, well,
good luck.
Someone's balance is gonna get messed up.
Yeah,
because
you
had 5 years of tuning things differently based on platform. Like, okay, we'll see.
I didn't even think about that. That was a massive problem.
Whereas, at the start when the game first launched, they were tuned the same. It's like, oh, these are like different experiences.
They were also at like different update points too. Yeah. Holy crap!
They updated them at different times. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It might. It'll sort themselves out eventually, but I think it's gonna be a rough month or two before they finally start that.
Yeah,
so,
they gotta see the players play.
Unlike Call of Duty, where it's made with crossplay in mind, so they have those those balances in mind while they're developing the game. Whereas this one, well, I think since there's been no real gameplay updates for a while because they're working on Overwatch 2,
right?
Hopefully, they've had a team considering these balance changes beforehand.
Hopefully. Or it could be the situation that Activision just not caring and just be like,
patch notes are key. We got to read the patch notes first, but
that's definitely the key.
Because I'm excited for this new shooter, but I'll still be playing skin shooter #1 Overwatch whenever a new event happens. I need those skins, baby. But that's everything I'm excited for with E3.
You almost forgot the big Kahuna.
What's the big Kahuna?
Nintendo.
Yeah, no, I'm getting to it.
I'm
transition.
Excited. I know, I'm sorry.
I've got my list and show
my
notes
bad.
there,
You're
man.
very professional, too.
Yeah.
You use Notepad.
We went to a lame trade school for this.
Sir, they weren't lame.
Well, you got more out of it than I did.
Sure,
because
I think I got a bunch out of it.
Two things. Here are my takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
It's good it was a good school if you like sports, a good school if you like radio. I like neither radio nor sports. So, especially if you did the add-on, right?
Yeah, I did sports.
Yeah, so you got that real experience of working on the G League broadcast for the Bulls. You actually broadcasted Windy City Bulls games.
Yes.
As someone who didn't want to pay more, and as someone who doesn't care about sports, I got shafted.
That's fair.
I did not get my money's worth.
That's fair, then, yeah.
Because all the skills I've used with editing this podcast are the skills that I learned myself prior to doing that. And also which, again, great if you love radio and sports, because half our teachers worked for ESPN 1000.
Yeah.
So if you wanted recommendations and hookups, great. We have all these contacts in ESPN 1000. Guess who's not looking to get into sports broadcasting at all? This guy. That's worked out for you. You're doing, UIC stuff, and then you did some gigs for Northwestern.
Yeah.
Whereas, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but sorry about that tangent. Nintendo, pretty much all the AAA mainstream stuff Mike was excited for.
Yes.
It was all in with Nintendo press conference. A lot of people think Nintendo saved E3, but I didn't think they... I don't think they had enough to save E3. E3 was too much of a dud for it to be saved by one guy.
Which I agree.
I agree. That one guy even only brought 2 announcements, really.
But that's how much of a dud it was. That's why I don't necessarily... I'm not saying that. I'm not personally saying E3 was saved by Nintendo. But hearing people say that, I'm not going to be like, no. I think where people are saying that, they have valid points.
Yeah.
Where I see, because it's all over YouTube.
Yeah.
Nintendo saved E3. Nintendo saved E3. Blah, blah, blah. All of that. So, me seeing that and then seeing Nintendo's presser, I'm like, well... They kind of did. Only because... Were they the last ones?
Yeah, they were the last.
They were the last ones, and they had the most, stuff where people were actually excited. They started off the thing with a bang.
Yeah.
With Smash Brothers. Want to start there?
I'd say, yeah. Well, yeah. Smash Brothers.
Okay.
Everyone expects it from a Nintendo Direct, so of course you always lead with Smash Brothers.
Right.
Which
that's automatic hype.
As soon as I saw it, just like... A man carrying someone to a cliff.
Yeah, I know, same
Ganondorf
thing.
to a cliff. It's Kazuya, baby.
I thought it was either Heihachi or Kazuya.
Here's the thing, why you
pick yet.
Heihachi wears a vest. He wears the gi with the cut-off sleeves.
Yes, but they only show arms first.
No, they showed. You see a little bit of bare shoulder.
That's what made me think.
With Sombra, that gave me a shoulder fetish now, so I knew to be in tune with people's upper arm, shoulder, collarbone. So as soon as I saw the shirtless body part, I'm like, he doesn't have the gi on, it's Kazuya.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Because when I saw the arm, I still didn't know because it's a short sleeve, even though sleeveless and shirtless are different, but just seeing this part, I'm like, still don't know. And then I forgot what I saw, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Kazuya.
Okay. Yeah. But
yeah, hype, automatic
his moves, he looked like... Of course, the inputs are different, so...
Of course, yeah.
He's not going to play like he does in Tekken, but the moves look like his moves in Tekken.
Man. Yeah,
and
that's
the
thing.
And I was wondering, how are they going to work in, the smashing moves of having, you got to have the recovery up move.
Yeah.
And other stuff. And then, they're working his devil transformation into his moves
smart.
in order to get the more cartoony, smashy moves.
Yeah, that's like Pit's thing.
Yeah. And I just the trailer, they're always fun, the Smash trailers. The way they showed them just dumping guys off a cliff.
Oh, God, I loved it.
It's hilarious. And also, the ending with Sakurai's main man, Kirby of just him throwing him off the cliff and him looking down and then Kirby floating away in the background.
But you know what I thought about that? Because since it started at night, when I saw that to myself, I was like, oh my god, he spent all night just throwing Smash characters in lava. I would have loved to seen the whole video of him throwing like Peach in, Charizard, Shulk, and just Ken. I would have just loved it. Just a 10-minute cut of that, and then by the end, Kirby's just like, oh well, yeah, I can fly.
Yeah.
Jigglypuff died. Totally forgot she could float. That was beautiful.
Next big thing, I think the biggest thing for you, even though it wasn't in the Nintendo Direct, they had a blowout on it on at the Nintendo Treehouse Live, because it's coming out in a couple months. No More Heroes 3, baby.
Yes, it's about time. I'm excited.
Also,
pumped.
No More Heroes 2, 1 and 2 just released on Steam, so maybe I'll finally beat.
You didn't play it on Switch?
No, why would I play it on Switch?
Right? Or do you have a Switch?
Technically, I do. It's not in my possession.
Oh, okay. Say less. I remember now.
Yeah. Which I'm fine. I'm gonna get it back when Bayonetta 3 comes out.
Okay, because we talked about this.
Yeah, because that's the agreement of just like, you can keep it until Bayonetta 3 comes out. So they've had it for years.
Yeah, like.
But again, there's no.
It's gonna be gone right around that time.
Pretty much the only game I want to play on Switch are indie games. But guess what? They all came out on PC first, or they're launched simultaneously on PC.
I will if they don't give it to me for free on PC. I will get it on Switch.
So No More Heroes 3. It's more No More Heroes.
That's all I need.
You got the quirkiness. You got the hack and slash action. So that's all Mike needs.
I'm like, if you add to the story, the crazy story, I'm cool with that. If you make the fighting, just evolve it, of course, like what they did in 2. Then I'm fine with that.
Which it looks like they have.
Yeah.
They're still doing that shtick of you have to do these busy work mini games between fights of.
If they make it easy like 2, I'm fine.
Okay.
It's just part of it.
Is 2 easier to get through?
Yes. Because you don't have to.
Because that's the thing that pissed me off with 1. I'm like, I'm out. This is boring me.
You know what I did to just get it? I literally just spent like a bunch of time.
I don't want to do chores and mini games.
I feel
I'm
that.
playing this game for the combat.
But the combat's so good that I know what to do to get to it.
The thing is, the combat's not that good for me to do this mini game BS to stick with the combat.
Especially when it was on Wii, when you had to actually use the stick, the Wii mode. Oh my god! I hope they do it again make it perfect for the Joy-Cons.
Here's the thing: I'm just gonna wait for the PC version to launch for No More Heroes 3.
You monster!
Why? It's just gonna be another year.
No More Heroes on Nintendo.
No.
That's how I do it.
Well, even then,
on that system,
they eventually ported No More Heroes 1 to PS3.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And then they had Travis Strikes Again, which they eventually ported to PC. Which I knew, if they do a Switch port of No More Heroes 1 and 2, which they did. Oh, that's coming to PC. And then it did the week before E3, so.
But
I'll just get the Trilogy Collection on E3. I don't care about Nintendo.
Well, they saved E3!
They didn't, though. Because I don't care about a lot of those announcements. But you do. WarioWare. A new WarioWare game, which has been. People have been craving that, but the last one didn't sell too well on 3DS.
Because it's on 3DS. But to be fair,
are you kidding me? 3DS had a huge.
That's why I was just gonna take that back, because I was like, to be fair, my favorite personal WarioWare is Twisted, the Game Boy Advance one with remember the big bottom to it, and you would shake it to do that was so fun. Oh my god, they're gonna make this like Twisted.
Hopefully.
Oh, I'm hyped.
It's just gonna be fun mini games. That fun Wario aesthetic. So that's coming out September 10th. So that's great.
Yeah.
This should have been a launch game.
Yes.
If they just renamed 1-2 Switch WarioWare Switch and had those mini games, it would have done way better, and people would have been less salty of this is your only launch game?
Yeah.
Well, not your only launch game.
It was only 3?
Yeah.
It was Breath of the Wild, 1-2 Switch, Bomberman. Oh, what's that Nip and Tuck game? Was it Switch? What's it called?
Tuck?
Nip Tuck is actually.
No, Nip Tuck was a show on FX by Ryan Murphy.
You're right. But you know the game where the purple and yellow
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah,
it was a fun
4.
puzzle game.
Oh, and Tetris and Puyo Puyo.
Yeah.
So 5.
Oh, guess what? Let me hold your hand on
Okay,
this.
I got you, fam.
And this is important to me. Tetris Effect Connected is finally losing Xbox exclusivity after a year.
Yes!
So Tetris Effect Connected, the content is finally coming. Yes.
Yes, okay!
The Tetris Effect content is finally coming to PS4 and Epic Game Store.
Oh.
The multiplayer content. And they're also having a beta from June 17th to July 5th, I believe.
Okay.
Wait, June 17th? That's today. Let me look at my notes.
That is today.
Yeah, June 17th to July 5th, a beta. Some of it is closed beta, you have to apply, and then some of it is open beta.
Okay.
But the thing that I'm excited for, hold my hand again.
I'm back.
Tetris Effect Connected is finally launching on Steam. Good things come to those who wait.
Of course it was going to go. Who didn't think that?
Well, here's the thing. Tetris Effect first launched on PC with Epic Game Store exclusivity for a year.
Yes.
And then Microsoft locked down the Tetris Effect Connected exclusivity for a year.
Yes.
So the multiplayer content exclusive to buying it on Xbox or the Microsoft Store,
right,
which no one wants to buy from your shitty Microsoft Store.
I just played on Game Pass.
Just release it on Steam, except unless you have Game Pass.
Yeah, I played it on Game Pass on the PC.
Microsoft Game Store, fine.
Right.
So then I had a year of Epic Game Store exclusivity, and then Microsoft, you're cock blocking me again. Then I have to have another year of Microsoft exclusivity, but those 2 years of 2 different exclusivities is up. The madness
so that
is
just
ending.
kills the term exclusivity.
Which is bananas. Like, you have a year that's exclusive for one guy, and then another year that's exclusive for another guy.
Definition sense.
Yeah, which is also, it's a year of exclusivity for free DLC, which had me pissed off last year.
That don't even make sense.
For last year's E3,
right.
But the madness comes to an end. Tetris Effect Connected, so that's the base Tetris Effect content, and then the multiplayer content with Connected, finally coming to Steam, baby. So after the beta ends in late July, it's going to come to Steam sometime late July. So I'm excited.
So you're gonna rebuy it?
Of course. I don't play my PS4 anymore.
Oh well. I was just wondering,
and plus I could.
Why don't they just give the stuff for free?
I have a 144 hertz monitor. I could play Tetris Effect in higher resolution, higher frame rate. It's gonna be magical, dude. It's gonna be great. This is honestly, with the exception of Elden Ring, Tetris Effect coming to PC. To Steam has been a bigger announcement than everything else at E3. But yeah, let's finish up E3 because I'm getting hungry and I will be late to work today.
Oh, dude, yeah, you still have work.
They're canceling. My contract is ending mid-July. What are they going to do? Fire me? It's a no-stakes situation.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, come on, who cares? So, WarioWare, Will touched upon this in his segment.
Okay.
Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Not too much to say about that.
Yeah, it looks like more Mario and Rabbids. They're changing up the gameplay formula. Instead of having a grid-based system, they're doing the ring-based system, which has been in a couple other...
XCOM, right?
No, not XCOM. No. XCOM has been grid. The only one I could name off the top of my head is Phantom Brave for doing the circular movement system.
Yeah, but it's like...
Other ones have done it before, but yeah, instead of doing a grid, you have free circular movement within a radius, which I always thought has been a cool system, and like, why haven't more strategy RPGs on this? But yeah, it's shaking up the formula. And I hear that's a really good strategy RPG. It's more than just baby's first strategy RPG.
Yeah, it's actually
got
pretty
good
fun,
depth to it, good combat,
Like, I'm not a super
strategy
RPG guy, but, like, when I played it, I'm like, yeah, you gotta put some brain power behind it.
It's more of a good thing, and they're putting a little extra spice on it, so what's not to like?
Yeah. More?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's coming 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're correct.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Again, like, it's one of those things where it took you a while to get into a short hike because of the aesthetics. The Rabbids, they're just so ugly, dude.
Dude, man.
Just not just how they look, like the aesthetic of just like the.
I think,
which I think I've maybe played one game with Rabbids in it, but I think I did a perfect impression of a Rabbid.
Which one did you play? Do you remember?
Some Wii thing. I think it was a mini game one.
I was just gonna be now. Maybe the age difference will show at this part because
this age difference where that was more formative years for you when the Wii came out.
Yep.
Also, you like the prequel trilogy of Star Wars, where
because they're great movies. They're fun.
One
movies.
of them is fine.
The third one's the best out of all 9. It's even better than 5, and that's okay.
Well, here's the thing: I think 5's overrated. But
see,
the thing is that I'm not a Gen Xer man.
that sounds like a Mega Man robot. Gen Xer man.
He's just a guy in his mid-40s of like, hey, you should like what I liked when I was a kid. Like the original Star Wars trilogy and Ghostbusters and Indiana Jones. Like, hey, that was fine when you were a kid, but I had my own shit when I was a kid. Stop, just because you're at the age now where you're in charge of Hollywood and you're making these movies, stop trying to force your childhood onto everybody else.
Is it that noticeable?
Yeah,
it's that noticeable.
It's that noticeable.
Yeah, it's definitely
like,
that
I'm not looking forward to when millennials, my generation, are in their 40s, and then they're in charge of Hollywood, and then we're trying to make movies and forcing them onto, like, our kids. Like, no, man. Let it go. Let it go.
Oh, that sounds like a Frozen movie to me.
Yeah. Like the Frozen reboot. I think Frozen's a generation younger than me.
Yeah.
I don't know, are you a millennial or a Zoomer? You're between.
I'm actually, it's one of those situations where I'm right at the end of Gen, or millennial.
Yeah.
So, you know how there's like Gen Xers?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's weird because Gen Xers, when I was growing up in the 90s, they were the cool older kids.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, Smashing Pumpkins? Yeah, man. But then, like, Gen Xers now are like, those dickheads in their 40s. It's like, oh, come on, those dickheads in their 40s ruining things for the younger people.
Exactly.
Trying to force their tastes onto us and their politics onto us. It's like, because the thing is, like, when I first heard the term boomer, like, okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer.
Like, everyone they're directing that at is actually Gen Xers.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
the more you think about it,
they're not actually directing that. Like, most time you hear that, they're directing that at Gen Xers and not actual boomers, because boomers do not know how to use the internet.
Exactly. It's one of those situations
where... like, no actual baby boomer is on the internet, so because they don't know how.
I'm like, that's the same group that just calls every young person a millennial. And when I mean young, I mean like a teenager.
Yeah.
They still call them millennials.
Like, no, millennials are, like, late 30s to late 20s, I think, at this point.
Yeah, because I'm like the last year, so...
Yeah.
Or
then, like,
mid-20s
so,
mid-20s
to, like, I don't know, early teens? Are Zoomers now?
Yeah. Early Zoomers would...
Because,
They would be, like, 24 and whatever the beginning. Because I know the end of millennials right now would be 25.
So, another thing that... I think the big wow moments of... Like, the big wow moment of E3, other than Elden Ring, the big surprise pop was... They first show it as Metroid 5, and they reveal a new side-scrolling Metroid game, Metroid Dread, which is also coming out October 8th, sooner than we all thought.
I'm happy about that.
First they farted on our faces. Before they showed Metroid Dread and revealed a new 2D Metroid game, they're like, Metroid 4 is still in development, we have nothing to show, but enjoy this. But it was a hell of a pop, man.
Yeah.
This is definitely a millennial Gen Xer thing of just Metroid. Yeah! We need a new Metroid game, even though indies have been doing it
They've
better.
been doing a great job.
Metroids have been indies have been doing it better for the past 10 years than like. So I'm excited for a new Metroid because Metroid games, they're good games. They're solid.
Yes, they are.
But and I will probably play this.
I will definitely
because
play
I
it.
love.
I
I like Metroid Fusion a lot. I think me and Senpai were texting like, yeah, Metroid Fusion's our favorite Metroid, and this is a direct sequel to Metroid Fusion, so I'm excited for it. But a weird marketing thing though is it throws a lot of shade on some teams. Because they kept saying this is the first Metroid in almost 2 decades. This is the first 2D Metroid in almost 2 decades. But like, hey, so what? So Retro Studios who made Metroid Prime, those don't count. And then like the remakes with Metroid Zero Mission.
The AMR or
well, not AM2, not the indie stuff.
Oh yeah,
remakes,
right.
But like, so Zero Mission doesn't count.
Right.
Samus Returns doesn't count.
Nope.
Like, that's a lot. That's weird shade you're showing on those
Didn't
projects that were primarily
version.
Yeah.
Or is that the one you just mentioned?
Samus Returns, which was the Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But they're like, this is the first new Metroid in 2 decades. Like,
no, it's not.
You're throwing a lot of shade at the teams. It's not. You're a liar, and screw you.
Unless are they saying the first one from in-house Nintendo?
Yeah, but
that's the only
which is weird because it's like with Koji Igarashi with Castlevania, who's like, any game that I didn't make is non-canon. He's like, everything that I'm making, that's Castlevania. If another team made it before I came on board, that is non-canon unless it's specifically called Castlevania with a number. It feels like they're doing the same thing with Metroid.
Right.
Considering it's like the same subgenre.
Well, anything to get Other M out of there.
Yeah.
Burn it all down to get Other M.
It looks like traditional Metroid, which everybody has been craving for a while. Except for me, because again... We play indie games. We play indie games. Hollow Knight is...
God, it's so great.
Personally, I don't think any Metroidvania game will top Hollow Knight for me. But I'll still check this out. Axiom Verge
is so good. They didn't even mention Axiom Verge 2. Did you see it this E3?
Maybe
I missed it.
I don't think it was at this E3, but they had I know they had a stream for it where they had a extended gameplay look. I don't know if it was before E3. Sometime this summer for sure.
Okay, because I'm like,
who's the publisher?
Definitely know. Ooh.
Okay.
But I definitely know it was announced earlier in the year.
Also, the fun thing of like the Metroid Dread finally coming out, because Metroid Dread, again, like we were talking about, it's Metroid 5 technically in the main timeline.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed
Thomas Happ Games.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, so it's independently published also.
Yeah.
That's Thomas Happ's developer, but is he publisher?
Developer and publisher, yeah.
I know, because I think sometime after they announced the delay, they had a stream for gameplay just to be like, hey, it's coming, development's going fine, I just need more time in the cooker. Right. But yeah, Metroid Dread, Metroid 5, directly after Fusion. Metroid Dread was a rumored game. I think they showed some footage of it, like, as a DS game.
Right.
Got canceled, supposedly worked on as a Wii game, which got canceled and never shown. And I think then they eventually made Other M, but Metroid 5. I'm happy Metroid fans are happy. The thing is, like,
I'm more of a fan of the series.
Yeah.
Compared to the actual woman and the character. The genre, not the series. I'm more a fan of the genre than the series.
The thing is, it's not... It has to be better than being a game called Metroid.
It has to bring something to the genre, I feel.
Because
to keep its territory.
It has the combat mechanics they added into the Samus Returns remakes and Metroid 2 remake.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had a whole decade plus of indies doing it.
Evolving the genre,
pushing it forwards. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Ori and the Blind Forest, as we said, Hollow Knight,
Axiom
Verge.
Just a bunch. Those are
like,
just the top tier.
There's an indie Metroidvania coming out every month.
Yeah, like a Robot Named Fight is another one.
Yeah. Gato Roboto. Like, Metroid has to bring it. I think it's going to...
It has to, yeah.
I think I've told you about how there's a fantasy publisher league thing.
Okay.
So it's like fantasy baseball, but you pick games and like the score points are based off of Metacritic or OpenCritic.
Mm-hmm.
I bid on this for my team just because here's the thing. I don't trust it to be better than what the indie development has been doing, but I think it'll be good enough. It'll be a good enough Metroidvania game that's called Metroid, and they'll give it that critical push for it to work out on my fantasy team.
That's what I'm thinking too.
So it won't be better than some of those indie games, but because it's called Metroid,
it'll be at least at the level. That's gonna spike.
It'll get that point bump,
right?
Just because it's a good Metroidvania called Metroid.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Even if it's honestly, the more I think about it, it can probably be like a level under.
And
still get that
the thing is,
push. Because compared to its last game in the series,
compare it
to
with Samus Returns, I hear that's a good game that's held back by being a remake of Metroid 2, which is considered the worst one.
Right.
With them having full freedom to do a full-on new Metroid game, I think it has more potential.
Yeah, it looked really cool from what I saw.
But again, it's not coming out in a vacuum. It has a lot of games competing with it, so hopefully it's fine. Also, here's the thing that grinds my gears.
Oh, what grinds your gears? We
have so many great indie Metroidvania games. I paid...
Oh, Bloodstained's another one.
Bloodstained, yeah. I played $10 for Hollow Knight, which
I think I know where you're going.
I like Bloodstained. You'd get for $30 or $40. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. That's either $30 or $40 each.
Yeah.
Or you could get them in Game Pass.
Both of those are in Game Pass.
Compared to those games, the graphically. Metroid Dread does not look impressive.
That's because it's stuck on the Switch.
It looks like also, they're using that. You could tell they're using the exact same engine that they use on the 3DS game Samus Returns.
Yes.
Everything for sure.
Because it's noticeable. 3DS vibes.
It's noticeable that it's at a higher resolution. Mm-hmm. There are more graphical effects, but it still looks like. It still has that sheen of it where it looks like a 3DS game.
Yeah.
Where it's Nintendo it's a $60 game. Whereas you have games where again, Ori, Hollow Knight, Bloodstained. You have as much content as a Metroid game, but for a significantly lower price, and also either graphically with some of those, or with just art style with some of those, it looks better than Metroid.
Yeah, like Hollow Knight on Switch looks.
It looks better than Metroid.
Yeah. Maybe once we get it in our hands.
No, it's coming out October. There's not going to be a revamp where it's going to look all of a sudden better.
Well, yeah, that's true, too.
Well, and also, here's the thing. With Bloodstained, that ran rough on Switch. That looked awful on Switch. I had to actually play it on PC. And I think that's what that's going to look like. With the cell shading and the different filters you could put on for Bloodstained looks better than Switch. Or better than Metroid... Better than Metroid Dread.
Dread on
just
Switch.
Stylistically, graphically, I think it looks better than Metroid Dread. And also, it's $20 cheaper. Also, I'm pretty sure it's going to have more content. For just be a bigger package, just because that studio has they're still releasing free DLC for it, more content for it. So it's a more robust package for 2/3 of the price, and it looks better than Nintendo's $60 package. So I'm interested in Metroid Dread.
Yeah,
I was gonna say like I'll pick it up in a sale, but it's Nintendo. They don't do
sales. Their sale. This is what you have to do. You have to buy from Walmart where it's $50. Yeah, that's your sale.
But yeah,
that's what I've been doing for their actual like first party games. Get it from Walmart. Get it for $50. I don't know why it's like that. Hopefully it stays like that.
Yeah, I think Walmart's big enough where they could take the money hit.
Yeah,
and like, hey, come to us. And also, hopefully if you come to Walmart, you're gonna. It's the Halo effect of just. I'm not talking about Halo the game.
Yeah,
but
I get what you're saying.
Like it's mainly for.
You're gonna get a bunch of other things.
You come in, you attract you with this deal, and then we'll get you with the other thing.
Right.
Because they have it with cars of just like, hey, we're gonna make this supercar that you can't afford, but it attracts you to the brand, and you're gonna come in and buy like the shittier version.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, to finish out this podcast, talking about this dud of an E3.
Right, just like how E3 finished itself off.
Breath of the Wild
2.
Dose. Which, it looks good. It looks like more Breath of the Wild. That's a thing of just...
The 10 seconds of
What can I say about it? It looks like more Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is my favorite Zelda game. It's the only Zelda game I've ever beaten.
Oh, okay.
They're adding cool new mechanics into it. They're adding in some Skyloft stuff from Skyward Sword.
Oh,
floating islands, so they're expanding the map that way. Cool. Just new tools and mechanics. You see a rewind ability where like this boulder thing is rolling down the hill, and then the spike ball, and then you see Link rewind time and have it roll up the hill.
Oh, we get another Blinks game. Let's go.
Something where it turns into goop and he travels upwards and goes through some ground. So there's some speculation where before we see him travel upwards as goop, we see like a puddle drop go backwards in time. So people think there's going to be like time mechanics involved, but I
mean, I'm down for that.
Like again, I like Breath of the Wild. This looks like more Breath of the Wild I'm in. There's not really much you can say other than it's going to be a new Zelda game in the Breath of the Wild engine.
Because you can't really... they can't change the map other than making it vertical.
I think they're adding more stuff. It's just... Yeah.
But how much can they add?
Because we see Hyrule Castle like lift up out of the ground. It could be like what they do with Fortnite. They just change up the map and that would be cool, man.
Yeah, setting-wise. Yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah, so I just want
Zelda like fell off something. I'm very interested to see where the story is.
You're one of those story Zelda guys.
Yeah.
Like the
gameplay's great.
The story was cool, but like story is secondary in a Zelda game. It's about the exploration and the dungeons.
Yeah, but I also need to explore and have like a reason why. And I think the story for this Zelda actually helped it a lot.
That's been
because my favorite Zelda is Twilight Princess, and like
I wanted a remake, but
again, they have one
for Switch.
Oh, okay, that's
just port it to Switch, man.
Hey, if they did, I would buy that. But hopefully
that's the one that most
$20.
interests me. No.
It was $20 on Wii U. It was. That's how I got Wind Waker.
It's Switch, baby. They're gonna charge you $40 at least.
Hey,
$40 at least, man.
That's still cold, but just don't charge me $60, okay?
Okay. I think they might. They might. But Breath of the Wild, like the other Zelda stuff, I don't care about.
I want
Breath
that
of the Wild
Game & Watch.
You want that Game & Watch?
I have the Mario one.
You can play those Zelda games on Switch already.
I want them on that thing.
You're one of those babies. Like, give me the new toy.
Yes.
I'm a Nintendo. Give me a new toy. I will buy whatever Nintendo shoves in.
I just want that. I just want the Game & Watch because Game & Watches
you're a little
cool.
baby Nintendo-year-old.
No, they're part of history.
You're a big old Nintendo stand who's gonna buy whatever they.
I am not that. Sir.
Did you buy the 3D All Stars collection?
Yeah, because I wanted to play those games.
I didn't. First of all, system, baby.
I didn't play 64 growing up.
That kid is so cute. Just want to kiss his face.
Oh.
But,
Galaxy,
yeah.
I haven't played since
Here's-
Wii. And what's the other ones?
Zip It?
Sunshine is one of my favorites.
I want to wrap this up.
Okay, wrap it up.
Hands getting shaky from hunger. Breath of the Wild.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. I'm like 30 to 40 pounds overweight, man. My blood sugar's off.
Okay.
And also I've only had sugary beverages all day. Pretty much.
Okay. Bad. I'm like, I don't think I've eaten really. Other than Chewy.
Other than the chewy.
Yeah.
And this.
Oh,
This might be thrown off my body, honestly.
I would not be surprised if that's
Yeah.
the case. I'm like, my mouth
Just
feels
like, because this is all weird soy boy food. Magic
Yeah.
Spoon is soy boy food and it doesn't have, like, real, like, natural...
Yeah.
I don't know. So that might
I'm
be
with
throwing my
you.
body off. But yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, it looks like more Breath of the Wild. I think we got what we needed of just, hey, this game development is going along. We're getting newish map,
right.
newish dungeons or whatever's going on with the map there, with the sky stuff, floating island stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting new mechanics. The thing I want, which they haven't shown, new enemy types and new gameplay system. I hated the gameplay of Skyward Sword. It was still fun enough for me to keep playing. Like, just let me take away unbreakable weapons so it makes dungeon rewards more worthwhile if I know they're just not going to break.
Right.
It makes it, because I did not, after a while, I just stopped doing, shrines.
Oh, you're talking about Breath of the Wild, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I stopped doing shrines because the rewards were worthless to me. I get a fraction of a heart piece or a weapon that's just going to break eventually.
Dude,
I
I
don't
went
care about
straight
that.
for the Master Sword.
Those aren't rewarding.
Did you go
No.
get the Master Sword?
I didn't bother getting that.
Dude, that's the first... As soon as I got enough hearts, went straight to that.
What sold me was just like, F it, I'm just going to do crit path. And then like, oh, these Divine Beast encounters are really cool. These boss fights in them are really cool. And then like, okay, 80 to 90% of this game isn't the thing that I like. But I still like that 20% enough where like, I like this game. I like Breath of the Wild. Even though I didn't like the combat as much, like these boss fights were tight.
Dude, the combat was great, but other than
the
durability.
Also, like
if they get rid of that,
the weapon types weren't the enemies weren't interesting.
Or not.
The average enemy wasn't interesting enough to like fight. And
compared
also,
to like Legend of Zelda, or just as a whole.
compared to other games that have combat.
Okay, that's fair.
And then also you have different weapon types. But because you don't have interesting enemy types, having different weapon types makes no impact on combat.
Right.
So, like, having different weapon types was boring and didn't mean anything.
You didn't like water or ice and fire and
No.
electricity?
But those boss fights were awesome. The final boss fight was was beautiful, dude.
Man.
Also, when you get to fighting the final form, it was so impactful. This is, like we were talking about how...
Because the story!
No.
Oh, okay.
But because, like we were talking about with that segment from the previous episode of just how games don't have to be fun, but it's all about if you have the gameplay element tie into the message and the story and the feeling you're trying to evoke, just having the feelings they evoked through the gameplay and the situation of the boss fight were so powerful, of just you and Link and Zelda working together, and then Ganon going all out, like, this is my final bet. I'm going all in with this, and then seeing that giant form come up, and then you and Zelda working together to take him down for good.
Zelda finally got to
It's
do
just
something. Yeah.
having that gameplay dynamic convey the feelings that you're supposed to be feeling as those characters. That was a beautiful moment. And they did it through gameplay and design, and I didn't need people talking or story or cutscenes to feel that feeling.
That's fair.
So I'm excited for Breath of the Wild, but again, 2022, hopefully, they said they're aiming for it. Hopefully...
Oh, God. Yeah, they didn't give up a hard date.
2022, they didn't even give us, like, a title for it other than the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
They didn't say Breath of the Wild, too? Oh, man.
No, the sequel
I'm calling that so much.
the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
They haven't given the actual title out because they think it'll spoil it.
Oh, gosh.
But again, like, who cares? We have you spoil... it's one sentence that'll have people anticipating it for a year. So why not
Right.
just give it away?
What's it called?
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Ganon came back.
It was
like what could it be?
what keeps it from really being an exciting thing of like an Elden Ring, where an Elden Ring showed like 2 minutes of gameplay elements. This was like maybe a minute at most showing you gameplay or just showing gameplay footage.
Yeah.
But it's enough.
Yeah.
We know, like, hey, new environment stuff, new mechanics. That's all we need to hold out for Breath of the Wild. Like, I want to see combat and see how that system works, but I'm excited for 2022.
Dude, pumped.
With Breath of the Wild's gonna be great. Elden Ring is... I'm always premature with, like, well, the From Software game's automatically gonna be my goatee. And it always is, anyways.
Biased.
Because, yeah, Breath of the Wild, or Elden Ring's gonna be my goatee. Breath of the Wild 2 might be top 5.
I actually wait for the game.
But we'll see. There might be some surprise games, like
Hades.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Hades wasn't a surprise to me because I played that. I bought that when it first came out in early access.
You did play early access.
So I knew that
was a surprise to me. Yeah.
But 2022, there was a bunch of stuff. There were a bunch of non-announcements to me that we'll see more of because they're coming out next year. So I can't wait for QuakeCon to see more from those Bethesda games. I can't wait for just E3 next year to see more of those Bethesda games.
Right.
Because those are the things I'm interested in. But again, all they showed was a CG trailer, so go fuck yourself. So yeah, E3, there were some fun announcements.
Grand Theft Auto 6 may come out.
Yeah. E3 was a there were fun announcements, but overall a dud.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the story of E3. Though. Just overall a dud. And also just the ESA not setting expectations right of just going out on Twitter, social media being like, hey, check this out. These publishers are known for these franchises and big things.
They're not talking about them.
But like, hey, guess what? We're gonna tease you and say they have a presentation, even though we know it's a specific presentation for a specific thing.
Well, you know why they.
But we're gonna tease you and just like not tell you.
Up.
Yeah. But like, hey,
get the numbers up, man.
But thank you, Capcom, for at least going out and being like, we're talking about these things, don't set your expectations.
Even though I'm still the most disappointed in them out of everybody.
E3's a dud, but we got game announcements, we're excited for that, and that's what matters.
Yeah, better than nothing.
And you know what? Peace and love, and I'm hoping we get some cool stuff from Gamescom coming in 2 months.
Right.
And also, Sony always has a summer state of play, so there'll be more announcements there. Because a lot of stuff I'm excited for, Ghostwire Tokyo, Deathloop.
Yeah, Deathloop. What's that
some
cat one?
Capcom stuff. Stray?
Is it called Stray?
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Like, a lot of stuff I'm excited for has been tied up with Sony marketing.
Yeah.
Like, Final Fantasy 16. I want to see more of that.
Me too.
But
that looks really
of
fun.
course, we're going to see that at State of Play.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. But yeah. Here's to the future.
Huzzah.
Friendship. And races getting along.
Yes, indeed. You know? We didn't even get to talk about Guilty here.
Yeah, we did. Next time.
Because we thought about that. We played it, but we didn't talk about it.
We didn't have...
That's the thing.
It came out right before E3, and we haven't gotten our reps in. Man.
Yeah, we didn't get enough.
And not enough tournaments have come out. There's only been, 2 major tournaments. Right. Levo... Europe and Levo North America. But yeah, we'll see you next time. And hey, if you like what we're talking about, like what we're doing, and if you're a supposed woke person, help out minorities and subscribe to this channel. Row, fight the power. Help us fight the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
And engage us. Comments, likes, subscriptions. They help us out a lot. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank
you
for
listening. Thank you for helping us out. You know, we love you.